Hello everyone, welcome to another edition of YouTube Take. I am back as your moderator, Big Rat J310 Crawford, here with our two guests.
This is Nightmare with Nightmareballa1, but I got something to add, kid. You got to change that because Carrie Champion
No.
is the.
I saw that comment. I saw that comment, and I was just like, no. Michael Hanskar, or whatever his name is, no. I do not like the new moderator, First Take. I love the way Jay Crawford did it. I thought he was like the center to the madness. I'm saying...
I agree. I think Jay was the same. Was the best one at it.
I mean, I agree, but Carrie Champion is just... Ooh, that bitch is fine, son.
She's not as dumb as the other chick.
She may be fine. She may be fine, but she ain't a better moderator, so I will not change to her name, no matter... I don't care if it's irrelevant or outdated. Fuck you. I'm not changing my name.
Okay.
And, of course, this is yours truly, Mr. Perfect. 6 for 6 is all I'm going to say. The one and only Phil Bayless.
When you go 6 for 6 and you pick the odds-on favorite every time, it's not much to brag about.
Odds-on favorite? Oh, okay, we'll say. Who picked...
Well, wait. Yeah, this week was chalk, though. It was like, all the favorite teams. Pretty
much. Did y'all go 6 for 6? Exactly.
I mean, I give you credit.
All right, I'm saying.
Yes, because me and Markeem went out on a limb. It takes more balls and more respect to do that.
Oh, kind of like I said when we won't go there. You want to really talking? Oh.
Yes, like when I picked...
It takes a lot of balls to change your pick late. That's right.
God. Come on. Stop. Let's go.
It takes a lot of balls to pick the Patriots to lose, which I'm doing again this week, but we'll get to that.
Best.
Big Rat is drunk. It's official.
All right. First up on Let's Embrace Debate on YouTube Take. Over the weekend, Robert Griffin III leads a wonderful fourth quarter drive to get the Redskins a 23-20 lead over the Giants. The Giants only had a minute 30 left. Everybody was saying, oh, this is Eli Manning we're talking about. They're probably going to get a field goal here. They're probably going to have a last-minute touchdown. But Eli thought that wasn't good enough. First play of the game, 60-yard pass to Victor Cruz.
Your first play of the drive, kid. First play of the fourth quarter. First play of the drive. 60-yard pass to Victor Cruz for the touchdown. I've heard people say that, Victor Cruz is wide open, but if you watch the tape, they show this on ESPN. Eli was about to get sacked, and from his vantage point, he couldn't even see that Victor Cruz was open. He just threw it in that direction, and it just landed pinpoint in the exact perfect position to when Victor Cruz got open. That is a sign of an amazing quarterback, ladies and gentlemen. And as soon as this game ended, a bunch of people were saying, that's it, Eli's the best. Let's talk about that. Markeem, is Eli Manning the best quarterback in the NFL? Hell nah. But no. But to be fair, he is very, 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 very good. At least top 5 in the game. But he is not the best for the sole reason that Aaron Rodgers plays in the league. Into that. Eli Manning, that throw though, I would say props to Victor Cruz. I think Victor Cruz's role in that play is actually getting overshadowed because he couldn't even bring it in. Eli taking that hit and still getting the ball there is amazing, but I feel like Cruz actually going and said you could tell that was a hook route. And he just kept going. And I mean that's genius. That's a receiver being intelligent at the same time. So yeah, definitely. Like I feel this best, but not.
I guess it's my turn.
Yeah. Sure.
Is Eli the best quarterback? I mean, oh my gosh, no, definitely not. But I mean, is it? He's in the conversation. It's now debatable. Before, well, I say pre-Patriots making him look like a star. Before that, no, you couldn't even put him in the. I mean, geez, that season. I don't want to go off on that, but that's 2007 season. I mean, if they don't play us, they may not even make it to the Super Bowl, and he may even have his job. His job might be on the line. So I mean, that's just how crazy it's been. But right now, we're talking right now, and you can't not put Eli in the mix. I mean, even me. I've got him in my top 5 easily. I mean, that guy's. He's clutch. I mean, let's just be. I mean, it pains me to say that, but he is. I mean, I'm not going to come out here and sound like a hater. There's a lot of haters out there. about my boy Tom Brady, but I'm not going to sit there and hate.
Oh my God!
I'm not going to sit there and hate Eli. I mean, Eli. Let me just say, Redskins. You saw exactly what happened to us in the Super Bowl.
And hold on, time out. RG3 now. Can people stop questioning RG3's heart and his intangibles, his ability to take? Like that dude has it all. Like I thought what he's doing now is what Andrew Luck would do this year, and what Andrew Luck is doing now, I thought that's what RG3 is. Just the flip flop. You know what I mean?
Right.
So. But yeah, everything you said, Phil. But you want to keep going?
Yeah, there's something I want to add to that. I mean, as far as that play, I want to talk about that play more than anything. That, like Big Rat said, I mean, like him almost getting sacked, that happened. I mean, he freed himself in the game against New England, but in that one, he was like about to get he did get drilled. And he was able to get that ball off practically perfect. But I actually heard Victor Cruz. They did an interview with him, and Victor Cruz was supposed to do a streak on that. But he had, Victor Cruz knew if he turned left, he would get open. Well, he didn't say turn left, but that's how I'm saying it. He said, if I come up to the middle of the field, it's wide open. I got to go to the middle of the field. I can't just stay streaking.
Yeah, that's what I meant to say, not a hook. I meant to say.
Right. So he hooked, well, that's what I'm saying. He hooked to the left or whatever, streaked to the left instead of streaking straight, and Eli was able to get it to him. So I got to give props to Victor Cruz. I know everybody's like, oh, are you going to go back on what you said? No, I'm not going back on what I said, but I never discredited Victor Cruz. That man made a play. And it was awesome. I mean, I'm not going to discredit him from that. I still think he's a good receiver. I just, I'm not going to make it into that.
Phil, can you now say at least the dude is an amazing receiver? Because he is. He's an amazing receiver. He's an amazing. Hold on, Phil. He's an amazing receiver in a league full of amazing receivers.
Right. Okay. Yeah. I can say he's amazing. Right. I mean, I'm not saying, and I never. Let me get it. Don't get it straight. Like I never said he wasn't amazing. My point was at the time. I mean, people go off of 1 year and they like to say like the guy's automatically top 5. Me, I just got to have more evidence, whether it's wrong or right. I like to see how he's done. I've seen enough now. Yes, you can probably make the case he's top 10 now. Obviously, I mean you can make the case he's top 5. You can look at him. He's not in my top 5, but you can make that case, and I can't argue it. Same thing I still think I can make about Reggie Wayne, but we won't go there. Like I said, but as far as Eli Manning, we'll get back to that. Even though if we get off topic, screw you. But that one in there.
Thank you for adding that.
And I hope you guys love my haters gonna hate picture in that last one. I did the editing in the last video. But anyways, as far as Eli being the greatest, he's not the greatest. He's not number 1 to me. But I think you could put him as high as 3, depending on what you want, what you see as. But I mean, that's just.
No, I feel like you can put him as 1. He's just not my
1. See, Well, anyway. This season, maybe you can, but I look at collective work, and collectively, I don't think you can put him number 1.
I will say this. I think that Eli Manning, without a doubt, like this, in my opinion, is not debatable. I think Eli Manning is probably the most clutch quarterback in the NFL. I can go out on a limb and say that. No. I mean, the numbers are there.
No problem.
Right now, easily. Right now,
he has more fourth quarter and overtime drive victories than anybody. He's the only person ahead of Tim Tebow.
Right.
But I think people seem to look at his clutch ability and seem to take that as his overall work throughout the game, and I don't think that's really fair, because if y'all saw, Eli Manning threw an interception in the fourth quarter to give RG3 the opportunity to make that drive. That interception was very, very terrible. I don't know if you guys saw it. Legitimately.
Yeah, I saw it.
I saw it. It was bad.
Legitimately, Chad Henne probably could have not made that interception.
Hey, stop.
No, don't jinx him that bad.
Stop. No.
All right, I'm not bringing up Chad Henne, but I'm basically saying that it was a very, very piss-poor play. And you look at that and you say, that guy's the best quarterback in the NFL? I get that everybody makes mistakes, but that's not a mistake with Eli. With Eli, we get that all the time. Look at his interception numbers. They're insane. They've always been insane.
Right. And
I think that people look at his clutch ability and just write that off over everything else. And yes, at the end of the day, he wins. But, I mean, it's not like the dude's 16-0. I mean, the Giants barely make 8-8 every year.
Thank you. And win the Super Bowl. Okay, go ahead.
Shut up. Stop. No, now I'm telling you to stop. Stop.
Thank you, kid.
I'm basically saying that he is probably the most clutch quarterback in the NFL, but I think people jump on that too much. I don't think it's fair.
In my opinion, he's probably top 3, maybe top 5. I am making a bold prediction. I will put the first ever issue on Big Rat's record. Big Rat will go on the record saying that Peyton Manning will go farther than Eli Manning in the postseason this season. Take that to the bank. I believe that.
Oh.
I think I like that one.
I like fire right there.
I like that one, but I also think the NFC is tougher than the AFC.
The NFC is tougher than the AFC, but right now the Giants are viewed as like the second best team in the NFC. So what does it matter?
People smoking crack.
Some people say they're the best team in the league.
Yeah.
I heard a few people say that.
Exactly. So I don't care how tough the NFC is. If they're getting that much praise, then it doesn't matter which conference.
Right? No,
they
I
play
agree. I got
so but yeah, I think it's a little overstated. I think if you look at his numbers each season by season, I mean, you can't. I'm sorry, you can't look at his numbers and look at Breeze and look at Rodgers and say that he's better. I just, I can't. And,
okay, Tom Brady. Goddamn, Phil. Okay, we know.
All right, but now let's get into our top 5 very quickly. Markeem, pick your 5. It doesn't have to be in a particular order, but who's your top 5?
No, I haven't. No. We're gonna do this now.
Wait a second. You need to establish this first.
All basically, hold on, Phil. We will all basically have the same top 5. Maybe it's minus like 1 or 2. We need to have an order, or there'd be no point in doing this. Seriously.
Okay, fine. Go in order. Your top 5.
Okay, and also I want to say this is mainly talking about this season, like for the most part. Yeah, I mean, like just this year, what I've seen. Yeah, I mean, just if we're talking about this, what y'all want to do? Y'all want to do active or just this season?
Active. I think active.
Okay.
Because if you say this season, then what's his name for the Texans? Matt Schaub is the top 5 quarterback.
And Matt Ryan and all this, and I refuse to do that. I refuse to give credit to Matt Ryan. I just won't do that on this. Never on the show will I do that.
We have to do active. Active is what I wanted to do, right?
Okay, all right. Here's my 5. Aaron Rodgers, and this is in order. Aaron Rodgers, Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, Drew Brees, Eli Manning.
Phil?
Okay. You want me to go next? Okay.
Why do you want to do? We'll tell why after each one of them.
We can tell why. My number 1, of course.
This for you, Tom Brady. Go ahead.
Right. And I know people are saying, well, why is Peyton not your number 1 after you went on a rant last week? I went on a rant because I was tired of hearing about Peyton Manning doesn't have it anymore. So that's why I went on that rant, and I talked him up. I probably said a little bit more than I actually meant, but just want to let you guys know. Brady's my number 1, biased or no bias. I think him and Peyton are just so close, put whoever you want in there. So obviously my number 2 is Peyton. Number 3 is Aaron Rodgers. Look, people, I've just got too much. I know it's not fair to Rodgers, but Rodgers may eventually be above, but I can't say that. I can't predict the future. But anyways, number 4 is Drew Brees, and did I say 3? Yeah, 3 is Rodgers, 4 is Brees, and number 5, unfortunately, I have to put him there because of what he's done, Eli Manning.
My number 1 is Michael Vick. My number is
Shut up.
My number 2 is Blaine Gabbert. My number 3 is Matt Hasselbeck. My number 4. All right. In all honesty, me and Markeem actually have it very, very, very similar. I have number 1. I have number 1 Aaron Rodgers as well. I know you're all asking probably why I in some instances. Hold on.
We'll get to that, kid. We'll get to that.
Yeah, we'll get there. But Rodgers 1, Peyton 2. I have Breeze 3, Brady 4, and Manning 5. Eli 5.
Hater.
Oh my God! You gonna let the kid explain? Who wants to go first?
You can explain. Go ahead.
Who wants to go first?
Well, I'll quickly say the reason, because some of you are probably wondering why I don't have Peyton number 1 when I obviously love Peyton Manning and have praised him and say he's going to the AFC Championship game, possibly the Super Bowl. It's very simple. I mean, I just got to look at numbers right now. Aaron Rodgers, I think on Sunday he had 7 incompletions, some ridiculous number like that.
He was godlike. That's a bad man to quote Stephen A. Smith.
Peyton Manning. Well, I do think Peyton Manning is still one of the best in the NFL, and I do think he's the best quarterback of all time, and I still stick by that. I do think that he's still struggling a little bit. in the first half. His interception numbers are just too high for me to put him as number one. And not that Aaron Rodgers' overall record isn't that conducive to being number one, but when you look at his actual stat numbers, I mean, they're just insane. So I got to go Rodgers number one. And the rest, I have Breeze over Brady, merely because it's quite simple. Both of them have probably the two best coaches in the NFL, arguably. And I think that if Breeze didn't have his coach, if Brady didn't have his coach, he'd be putting similar production that Breeze is right now. But Breeze would still, I think, is the more talented of the two. I think Breeze has taken this team. He's pretty much the coach of this team right now. He is grabbing this team by the horns, and he's got them to 1-2 in a row. And Brady still can't beat top flight competition. But
yeah, you have the whoa, we're gonna do this. We're gonna do this. You have the Broncos going almost all the way to the Super Bowl. You just said that, yet they beat the Broncos and it doesn't matter. Like, come on. Dude.
Vinny Verhey.
Stick to it. Which one is it? The Broncos a top team or they're not? You got to stick to one of those things.
No, the Texans. I do think the Broncos are going to go farther than the Patriots in the postseason, but that's because I think the Broncos will not play the Patriots in the postseason, and I think the Broncos will win their first game and the Patriots will lose their first game. I think the Broncos versus the Patriots.
Tell me. You got Tom Brady losing his first game.
Nuts.
I mean, unless he has like a bye, like you saying that, like if he doesn't have a bye. Like, let's say in the wild card round, you think they'll lose?
2 of the last 3 times the Patriots were in the postseason, they lost their first game. It's not that ridiculous.
It was the divisional round. I mean, the division.
No. 2 years ago. 2 years ago, they lost to the Ravens in the wild card game.
You sure about that?
No, he's true. He's right.
Oh, I don't remember that. I'll take
out. Blown out, so I remember.
And the Patriots, the defense has only gotten significantly worse.
Okay, but go ahead, kid.
All right.
Actually, I can talk about that, but
yeah, we'll get to that. But basically, I just think that Breeze has more talent of the two, and if you ask me to pick one of the two to hold my football team, before their head coaches, I mean, they both have the reputation for they would be nothing without their current head coaches. Even though Breeze, it's not true if you look at history. But now that I've seen Breeze play without Peyton and still putting up great numbers and still leading the Saints to victories, I have more faith that he could do well without his coach than Brady could without Belichick. So
still throwing picks, but go ahead.
Yeah,
I can't wait till it's my go. Go ahead, kid.
No, I'm done. I think I cleared it up.
I mean, Eli, we already talked about Eli, right?
Yeah.
Okay. You want to go next, Phil? You want me to go?
Yeah, I'll go next. I've kind of explained why I've got who where, but I mean, I got Brady 1 over Manning. I think they're just that close, and I don't get me wrong. I don't think that it comes down to rings at any point. But when I've got Peyton and Tom Brady Peyton Manning and Tom Brady so close. I put Brady 1 just because he has more rings. That's the only. I mean, that's all I can separate the two from. And let me establish why I don't have.
Hold on. Do you want to do like 1A, 1B? You could do that if you want to.
well, yeah, that's how I would have them because I think they're that close.
Okay, all right.
Then, so two would technically be Rodgers.
No, I mean when you do that, it's 3. Like they go 1A, 1B, and then 3. That's how they do it.
Okay, so 3. 3 would still be Rodgers, and I know y'all both have Rodgers, and I can't argue that, like I said. But there's more collective work between Peyton and Brady, and Rodgers has done great so far. I understand that, but it's not fair to Rodgers. I've said that, but I don't want to make sure that if it was just this season, Rodgers would be my number 1. But it's not just this season; it's collectively. And he has great seasons in the past too. But I'm just saying, right now, Rodgers is still 3. I need, and I know what more can I ask for. I'm not, and like I said, I might be being unfair to Rodgers. I'm not saying that. I just think before this season and before last season, people still had Rodgers 1. I see it now. I'm okay with it now a little bit because after they've had 2 more, he's had 2 more seasons in which he's doing great. Last season and this season. But before last season, they were trying to say that he was 1, and I just don't understand where you.
I don't know about that.
I don't understand that, but people were putting him at 1 then after he won the ring. So I don't understand where you can go from that. But whatever. And then fourth was Drew Brees, and I understand the argument we're going to get in. I think that's a topic later about Tom Brady.
I can't wait to get to that.
That makes me mad. Like Markeem has said it with Drew Brees. The reason I got Drew Brees under them, look, Drew Brees was not, and we talked about this before the show, but Drew Brees was not an elite quarterback when he was in San Diego. Was he great?
Yeah,
I mean,
he was great.
He was great.
I wouldn't even say great. He had a year where. Go ahead, Phil. Go ahead.
He was good. Let's put it that way. He was in the mix of your top 10 at least. And the reason that he got in the top 5 was Sean Payton. I mean, that's been clear. Now, you can make... I know there's a case for Brady. I understand that. But look, people... And I don't want me to go off on this now. We can go on this later. But people forget about... Anyways, I'll save that for later. I don't want to go on there yet. But anyways, like I said, I think Breeze, with the picks, that's the big thing. Like Marquine brought it up. I think the picks is huge. I don't think with or without Belichick, I don't think that changes interceptions. That might change some production numbers, but that doesn't change interceptions. And I don't think Tom Brady's never been a guy that throws a lot of interceptions, and I just don't think that stays the same. Or I think that stays that same, even if he loses Belichick, which I hope he never does, and I hope people can constantly talk about it, because I'm okay with it. Anyways, but then we have Drew Brees, and then 5th would be Eli Manning. And the reason I put Eli Manning is you can't, with the 2 runs in the playoff, and I know, like I said, rings don't doesn't make a quarterback necessarily, but I think Eli Manning needed those 2 runs and those 2 rings to put him elite. He is now elite. He's now, like I said, I don't think it's even an argument. Right now, he is the best clutch quarterback in the league. There's no debate. Now, if you want to compare him, his era towards, other people, when Brady was really clutch. I mean, Brady's not as, because he doesn't have the opportunity to be clutch. But anyways, I'm just saying, no, but when Brady was clutch, Big Rat, I mean, he had 30 seconds left in that game in that Super Bowl. They were going to go undefeated, and people were scared. Like 30 seconds? I don't think with 30 seconds.
Yeah, that is true. Like Eli's at that level now, but I've never seen no shit like that where the whole stadium's just gasping because they don't know what's going to happen.
Like 30 seconds, he's got ready.
Like that's the respect that Tom Brady had. Like on that last, Peyton Manning, niggas like that get that type of respect. Tom Brady had that type of respect. You know what I mean? I
don't think with 30 seconds left, Eli's still people are Eli's. I mean.
Now I think so, Phil.
Now I think he's now he would, but I mean I think even after that first year, I don't think they would say that. But now, you could probably say he's probably going to get that respect now. But anyways, like I said, and 5th, I think with him getting 2 Super Bowl wins, and the way he won those, and the way he's done, like I think Big Rat said it earlier, I think he's number 1 as far as comebacks or whatever. Yeah. So, I mean, you have to put him 5. I mean, I just don't see... Who can you put him above? Like, I would love for someone to tell me an argument. I had Phillip Rivers there, but let's be real. The dude had one of his worst seasons ever, and then I jinxed him Monday night. But anyways, we'll talk
about that later, yeah.
Right, but that's it. I mean, that's why I have Eli 5.
Aaron Rodgers is a bad dude, yo. Like, I think, to be honest with you, like... I feel like he is the best player in the NFL, not even just the best quarterback. I feel like in terms of throwing the football, delivering it from point A to point B, he is as good as anybody. You can argue like a little tit for tat here, someone's better than him, whatever. Who gives a fuck? In terms of that, he is top 3 in the league. And not to mention, you cannot tackle the guy. He can still run, elude pressure. You know what I mean? Like he's not a stone statue in the pocket. You know what I mean? When have you ever seen a guy that can? Not since Steve Young have I seen a guy that can deliver the ball as accurate as he can, get hit, make niggas miss, you know what I mean, just do everything he does, you know what I mean? And then this season is considered a down year for this dude. I want y'all to look at this dude's numbers, and this is considered a down season for this guy. Like, I don't even think, like, to me personally, I don't even think it's that debatable he's the best in the league. I'm sorry. That dude is on another, I haven't seen some shit like this since, like ever, you know what I mean? Since I've been alive, not in the NFL, not at the NFL level. Maybe not since Kurt Warner, that someone being like just that for a significant stretch of time being like that, just ahead in my opinion.
And Marky, let me interrupt just real quick because I want to throw a stat out that I meant to throw out myself. With Aaron Rodgers, that dude is the 2nd most sacked quarterback in the league, so that tells you right there he can put those numbers up with getting sacked.
Exactly, like he got sacked 8 times against the Seahawks. I mean,
the only other quarterback sacked more than him is Kevin Cobb. So,
and that doesn't shock me at all. They don't even play. That offensive line don't even block. They just.
So you can make an argument that Aaron Rodgers.
Anyway, yes. But that dude's incredible. I see what Phil's saying though. Like Peyton and Tom have been good for so long. It's kind of hard, just to be like someone's better than them. But I feel like if someone's doing what he's doing, man, like I'm sorry, like I feel like he's the best player in the league. Maybe J.J. Watt, but I feel like until let's wait till the end of the season. You know what I mean? Then who I have second? I had Peyton, right? Peyton is he's a computer, a walking computer. The dude is physically limited. That much is obvious, and he's still fucking Peyton Manning. You know what I mean? And he has a group of receivers who, let's be honest, aren't that talented. I mean, it's weird. Demaryius Thomas is good. Eric Decker, whatever. But they're not that talented. They're not what those other guys we mentioned have. And he's still making them look like stars. And then after that, we got. Then after that, you got Tom Brady. Like I said about Peyton. His brain is like next to Peyton on another level, I think, than anyone else. This season, has been like a down year for him, but he's still doing reasonably well, better than most of the league. And this guy, I feel like the receivers he have around him now, minus Welker and Gronk's not a receiver, but Gronk too, don't really fit what he likes to do. He likes to go over the middle, dip and dunk, yards after the catch type shit. Like when they win, that's how they win the championship. And you got somebody like Brandon Lloyd who's supremely gifted, but he's rather stupid. That's what you're like he's very gifted, but he's an idiot. He doesn't understand how to play receiver. He's just very athletic and gifted physically. And he's still being able to do what he does. I feel like that's you can't deny the man. And I feel like Drew Brees, he was good in San Diego, but I feel like Sean Payton, man, is elite. I feel like without Sean Payton, he's a good quarterback. He's a good quarterback. We wouldn't be talking about top 5 without that dude. Drew Brees, I've never seen someone consistently throw 20 plus interceptions, and people are like, oh man, this dude is one of the best in the league. I've never seen this shit. Like, don't get me wrong. I have him in my top 5. Drew Brees is he's talented. He's supremely talented. But I thought in terms of like instincts, I always thought he lacked. That's just being real.
Yeah, but if I could just interject for a second, that is true. But even with all the famous system quarterbacks out there, they haven't set records like this guy has. Look at the amount of NFL records he has. It's a ridiculous amount.
I agree, and that's why he's in my top 5. That's why. You can't deny his stats. And you can't. He became elite with Sean Payton. That is true. That's why he's in my top 5. I just can't have him ahead of any of those guys I just named. But and I feel like all 5 of these dudes, like seriously, you can seriously argue in some way or form that they are the best in the league, except Aaron. To me, I feel like Aaron Rodgers is just clearly the best. That's just me.
There was a point last year where you could argue Drew Brees was the MVP candidate.
Yeah.
It's understandable.
Yeah. But and then Eli, we already talked about him. No need to go in depth about him. But
one thing I wanted to add real quick too. I remember this. I looked it up to make sure I was right. But the thing about Aaron Rodgers is and I'm not saying that Tom Brady or Peyton Manning has never done this, but I'm just saying in last year, of all the times to have his worst QB rating type game. As far as stat wise, he had he had the worst of all season. After he beasted last season, he had it at the worst possible time. In the playoffs against the Giants. I know Giants won the Super Bowl. It's whatever. And I am one that says that the Packers are a team that can't win off of a bye week. I don't think it.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like they need to stay they're better off just playing every week. They need to just keep it that.
Look at the year before.
Right. I feel like them and the Giants are teams that if they have a bye, you can go ahead and count them losing that first game. It's just
agree, Phil. Totally agree.
So that's so I'm not and don't get me wrong. I don't want it to come off as I'm hating Rodgers. I'm not. I'm just pointing that out as part of my evidence. And like I said, I'm not denying Rodgers could be number 1. I know Brian, if he's listening to this, is probably about to throw his hat somewhere. Because I still don't have Rodgers 1. But I'm sorry. I have more evidence with that. Is it fair to Rodgers? Like I said over and over again, no, it maybe not be fair, but until then.
No, I totally get you, Phil. They've been good for so long. It's just hard to, it's hard to do that. But I feel like Aaron Rodgers deserves that respect, though. You know what I mean?
No, he's got my. To be honest, and I didn't say this, but that top 3, there's a huge drop off to 4. I really think that I've got those top 3, and Drew Brees was in there, and he's kind of, I just think he's starting to fall off from that top 3. I really do.
I mean, it's no Sean Payton.
Well, true, right, and you know.
What? Here's a stat for you.
Go ahead, I'm good.
Now, granted, we are going from Tim Tebow throwing the ball to Peyton Manning, but but at the same time, it's not like Demaryius Thomas and Eric Decker were like Calvin Johnson type recruits coming out of college. Okay.
I will say I think Demaryius Thomas has a huge potential, though. I will say that.
But here's a stat for you. Last season, no Broncos wide receiver was in the top 50. This season, they have 3 in the top 30. That's Peyton Manning, ladies and gentlemen.
Right. Yes, sir. Yes, it is.
That's the definition of making everybody around you better, and that's what the great quarterbacks do. Oh, and also...
He is the LeBron James of the NFL.
Mm-hmm. And as far as... Actually, well, we can kind of talk about this when we talk about Brady, so never mind that. Let's move on. Next topic. The Carolina Panthers have been struggling a lot this season. A lot. Right now,
understatement of the year. Now, understatement of the century.
To be fair, I did not buy the hype off last season. I mean, people don't forget that last season they still went 6-10. Like the fact that some people this year were predicting them to like make the playoffs and go deep in the postseason, I just didn't buy it. I saw the problems they had on defense and on special teams last year, and I thought they would struggle again this year. I didn't predict them to go. I think I predicted them to go 6-10 again. I think I said, which even now seems a little ridiculous. But I didn't buy the hype into Carolina like everyone else did, so I'm not that surprised by it. But it is a big story that they're struggling. Cam Newton's maturity issues have been called to question again, especially after his press conference. I'll go last on this because I have a specific issue with people who say that. But Markeem, just talk about Cam Newton's maturity and talk about the problems with the Panthers aside from Cam Newton as a whole.
All right, before I even want to get into Cam Newton, I just want to talk about Ron Rivera and just lack of like being able to motivate or coach anyone. You know what I mean? Like how? Like let's just talk about schemes for a second. Let's rewind back to that Atlanta game. Matt Ryan's throwing the ball from inside his end zone. How do you give up that pass? Can y'all explain that to me? How do you give that up? How do you let something like that happen? That's the first thing they teach you in high school. Don't let anything like that. Don't let anything get behind you from inside of the end zone. That's what they teach you. It's ridiculous. Like, I feel like this team is undisciplined. Like the entire team. I feel like on offense, no one has a clue. And I feel like on defense, they don't even try. You know, but with that being said, I feel like a lot of that has to do with Ron Rivera. I really don't think he'll be there next season. But with that being said, for a second, Cam Newton is a special player. Right? At Auburn, you know, when they had to clinch to go to the SEC title game, I'll never forget that last drive, that last play. Cam Newton, like I knew he would be special. You know what I mean? I just feel like mentally he is too soft for the NFL. Like there's a lot of pressure on you when you play in the NFL, and you have to be able to deal with that pressure. You know what I mean? You can't just succumb to it like he's been. You know what I mean? He's just been, you know, kind of deflecting blame and, you know, just kind of been, you know, when something goes wrong, you know, everything around him is bad, and now, you know, everything sucks. You know, he's been handling it the wrong way, and I feel like you know, when he messes up, it's like he doesn't try and improve upon it. He just beats himself up about it. And you cannot do that in the NFL. Like you're not at Auburn anymore, dude. You didn't, you know what I mean? You didn't win. You know, the Heisman Trophy was 2 seasons ago. You know, like it's not like, you know, you're not, you know, better than everyone you step on the field against. Everyone you step on the field with is just as talented as you are. They ain't son. Yeah, I mean, you got to do the hell type of thing. Vince Young went through the same shit. This really reminds me of Vince Young. Vince Young was so promising his rookie season. He really did. He was winning games. His numbers weren't the best, but he was winning, and it looked like he was getting better week to week. Cam Newton had one of the best starts to a career, or probably the best start. Maybe RG3 is kind of debunking it now, but like at the beginning of his career, first few games, better than anyone in history, and then after that, it was just a dramatic drop-off, and it's getting worse and worse, and I'm really worried about the dude. I really feel like that he could go the route of Vince Young, and that scares the shit out of me because I really like what this dude can do, seriously, and it's sad.
Phil, are you done? Okay, I was just making sure you're done. I feel the same way. The thing, like, I mean, I've never been a fan of Cam. I've just never been. I mean, the guy's great on the field. Don't get me wrong. But I kind of saw this coming in college. I mean, maybe I'm, was jumping the gun and I just got lucky. But the way he's, I mean, the way he is when after time he throws a pick, he goes to the sidelines, puts the towel on. I mean, man up. I said this in the last time we talked about this. It's time to man up. I mean, you're supposed to go on the sidelines and be, I mean, like I said about Peyton, when that guy throws a pick, even if it's not his fault, that dude's got his helmet on the sidelines and is standing beside the coaches, like, let me back on the field, like, or he's over there looking through papers, That's the kind of, I mean, obviously he's not going to turn into Peyton Manning overnight, but I mean, he's really on the field. Now, off the field, I'm not going to talk about, but on the field, he's like a Jay Cutler. I mean, or a Vince Young. I mean, the guys, when something happens, he wants to blame.
Jay Cutler.
I know. But well, like Vince Young, I mean, he just can't handle. I mean, I think Vince Young wasn't. Well, he got to that, but like you said, hopefully he doesn't go that far. But as far as like Jay Cutler, hitting the offensive lineman or something like that, like I don't know if he'd hit him, but I just think like Cam Newton gets to the point, and I didn't even get to hear the whole press conference of what he said, but I mean, I know the one that really got me is, he just was like, he was just acting like he didn't care, and it's like, you got to care. And I understand leadership is not in everybody, but you're a quarterback and you have to show some sort of leadership. You got to be
positive, like
positive. Be positive. Be like, look, we had a bad game. If anything, take ownership of the game. I know quarterbacks that have, I mean, on the high school level, college level, and pro level that have, that the game really wasn't their fault, but because they had a statistically bad game or they threw that one bad pass, they blame it on themselves. Like, I don't see that. Will Cam ever blame a game on himself? I don't know if he will. And the thing, and the stat I got to throw out there, that my boy Curtis pulled out, and I knew it. I mean, I've known it for a while as well, but and a lot of people might not know this, and I don't know if you saw it on my Twitter, but Cam Newton is 0-10 when the man throws an interception. 0-10. That is sad. That is shocking. That can't happen if he wants to be successful. I mean, and you can't. And I dare you to find me a successful quarterback that only loses. I mean, loses all the time when he throws an interception or whatever. I dare you to find me one because it's not going to happen. His record, might not be great, but I'm telling you, quarterbacks that end up coming up elite, your Peyton Manning's. Peyton Manning threw 3 interceptions in one half. I mean, Tom Brady's thrown 4 in one game, which is unlike him. But when it happens, they can still win. Like, that's the kind of stuff. I mean, if Cam throws a pick now, you almost have to count the Panthers out of it. I mean, they're 0-10, counting this year and last year. I mean, I know that the Panthers have made a lot of games close, and I thought, I mean, I'm not like other people here in the Carolina area that I've actually made a bet with. I made a bet with, and my friend did, that they both thought Carolina was winning this division easily, and I'm like, you do not know this team. Yeah, well, I mean, when they say easily, that's the fanboy in them. But I'm saying they thought that they had a shot at the division, and I'm sorry, they didn't. I said this from the get-go. They barely even had a shot at the second. I actually said they had no chance, and well, it's that's history. But I'm just saying, like, as far as like this team, I mean, the Saints win. The Saints have half a brain, and this team in Tampa Bay have no shot. So I'm just saying, like, Carolina is just, Cam is the guy. I think I agree with Marquine when he said about Rivera. I think Rivera, and I thought about this when Marquine was talking. I don't know if he's necessarily just like Wade Phillips, but I think he's a Wade Phillips type coach. He's a
hey, don't do that. Don't insult that man like that. Don't do that. Don't do that.
Okay, I'm just saying.
Wade Phillips never had any business being a head coach in this league. Never.
Right. I'm just saying, but I think there's a lot of coordinators that just can't pull it off as head coach. They just can't do it, but they're great coordinators. They go back to coordinators and they change teams. Wade Phillips is just one of them. That's why I'm throwing that out there.
Oh, okay, all right.
I'm not saying, obviously Wade Phillips was just a big softie when he was a head coach, but whatever. But I'm just saying, it's Wade Phillips when it has changed that Texans defense. I mean, let's just be honest. So I'm saying, like, but as head coach, Dallas' defense looked like Dallas. It always looks. So, I mean, you just have to say, like, I feel like, like a Rob Ryan, or I think this about Rex Ryan. I think Rex Ryan is another one, better coordinator than he ever will be a head coach. I mean, I think Ron Rivera. I think Ron Rivera's that case, and I know you can make a case with Rex Ryan about.
I actually think Rex Ryan is a really good head coach. I just think he's naive and stubborn because Smart Sanchez is terrible.
Right. That's true. But, look,
To be a head coach, you can't really be naive, though.
And to be a great head coach, you have to make those decisions that aren't popular, or those decisions.
Or else you will die by your quarterback, like Sperano did, and like he's going to do.
Right. And I think that's another. And I'm starting to see what Big Red was all hyping about at the beginning of the season. Soprano, plays it safe, whatever. He's doing that for the Jets, and he's killing them. So
thank you.
And maybe it's more Soprano or whatever.
Sperano.
Sorry, Sperano or whatever.
Trying to get someone whacked. You trying to put the kid on him?
But I'm just saying, I think that it could be more on him than Rex Ryan. And I know I'm making this turn into a Jets conversation, but whatever. Like I said, Panthers. Cam Newton needs to man up. Cam Newton has to win a game when he throws an interception, and until he at least does that. Now his attitude doesn't have to change right off the bat. It needs to change, but if he can win a game after throwing an interception and get that part out of the way, then he's making correct steps towards. But he needs to win the game, not. And we've made the argument.
And the defense don't need to look. I'm telling you, that pass, man. How the fuck do you let something like that happen? I don't get it.
And I don't get it. My boy. From the great the Coastal Carolina plays on that defense. So, but anyways, like I said, I think the Panthers are in trouble. They're probably looking at a top 5 pick. I really do. It's gonna vary, but
Okay, I gotta say a few things here. I think when I first saw the outcry, and that's what it was. It was a fucking outcry to Cam Newton's reactions, and I saw the press conference. When I first saw it, without having any preconceived notions in my mind, I saw it as Cam is not really saying, like people were acting like Cam was saying, we're losing. I really badly want us to stop losing. I hope to God something prevents us from losing. Almost like he was avoiding the responsibility of wanting to win. I thought the way he said it, he was saying more along the lines of, I'm really tired that we're not doing well. It's bothering me. I think we can do better. I think we should do better. And until we do better, I'm going to be bothered by it. And about the towel thing, I mean, Omar Kelly said it best. Jason Taylor, after every loss, every single loss, he went in the corner and put a towel on his head and sulked for 20 minutes. That man is considered one of the greatest leaders of the past 10 years for the Dolphins. People are competitive. It is what it is. I think.
Here's the Dolphin stat. I knew it.
Oh my God, Jesus! But basically,
but to say that before you continue, he's on the defense. He's not a quarterback, and I think that's totally different.
I can understand, but my point is, as far as Cam Newton struggles, I do think Cam Newton has to man up. Oh, also here's another stat for you: Ryan Tannehill, when he doesn't throw an interception, no, Markeem, this is. When Ryan Tannehill throws it,
this is a relevant kid.
When Ryan Tannehill throws an interception, he is 0-3.
Oh shit.
Okay, see. Well, I mean, it is this first season too,
yes,
but I mean, I agree.
It's still early, but like interceptions can matter. But my point is that the Panthers, I think the sophomore slump in Cam Newton's case was especially damaging. I read an ESPN Insider article by the way, great insider news. If anybody watching this wants to check it out, go to ESPN.com, NFL Insider. You read the insider articles. It's $3 a month. It's pretty fun. They have a lot of good articles. And Herm Edwards wrote a whole piece on Cam Newton, saying that Cam Newton, especially last season with the lockout, with no offseason, with no OTAs. I mean, it was easy. I've said it all the time. Like that, someone told me. I read an article that said that last year was the anomaly year for quarterbacks. Defense weren't fully adjusted. The schemes weren't prepared. That's why you had Drew Brees throwing for fucking 5,300 yards, and Tom Brady and Matt Stafford also throwing for over 5,000. I thought last year.
And Eli didn't. Eli did it too, right?
No, he was close. He didn't know.
Close. Okay,
but I thought last year was the anomaly year, and that was a great year for a number 1 overall quarterback to shine. And I think this year defenses have figured him out. Just like I think next year. Now this is a completely different case because I think RG3's mental stability is far, 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 far greater than Cam's. But I do think next year RG3 is going to struggle. But I think RG3 will handle it better than Cam is currently. But I merely.
I totally agree with that.
Yeah, I agree.
And that's what's going to happen. But I think, even though I do think Cam is getting too much flack, I do think that there are a lot of problems with the Carolina Panthers besides Cam Newton. I mean, people forget that this team was 1-15 2 years ago. Like, honestly, this team still has a lot of work. And I think people need to understand that instead of just blaming Cam Newton for why this team is not a playoff team. they haven't been a playoff team for a long time. I think people need to be a little more patient. But I'm not trying to bypass Cam. Cam is not handling the situation the best way. I do think it's not that bad, but I do think he does need to step up, and he does need to learn and, change his game, man. Like, try to see why he's struggling. Try to see why defenses are better adjusted to him. This was a very great news piece that Herm Edwards said. He said that with Cam Newton, when Cam Newton doesn't get his first read, he holds on to the ball and either runs or takes a sack. Like, if you're on the defense and you know that piece of information, I mean, that's so valuable. They pretty much forced this man to run.
Can I interject real quick?
Sure.
And this is not really off topic, but because it's on topic. Why is Herm Edwards so respected?
I don't know, but that piece that he wrote about Cam Newton was very, very insightful. And I know you're probably not a fan of Herm Edwards.
No. I like the guy. I seriously like the guy. But as a coach, he is the epitome of mediocrity. When people act like he's this great and wonderful football, the motherfucker's 3 games over 500 for his career. Who cares?
He played to win the game.
That's why he's famous. It's ridiculous to me, but I just wanted to throw that.
I agree. He never did anything with the Jets.
People don't know that. They see her. Oh man, Herm Edwards, man. Let's listen to him. Whatever, man. He's charismatic. He's likable, but he's not. In my opinion, he's not a good football mind. Simple as that. He's not.
Well, let me ask you this, Markeem. When Eric Mangini is on First Take, do you think he ever provides thoughtful commentary?
I feel the same way about Mangini. I didn't at first until he picked the Cowboys to win the fucking Super Bowl.
Yeah, Eric Mangini's an idiot.
I was like, okay. I feel like he didn't get a fair shake with the Jets. I feel like that he got fired prematurely with the Jets and the Browns. I mean, just to be honest with you.
More with the Browns, but yeah, I agree.
But yeah, more so with the Browns, but even with the Jets, like they were okay one season and then they were bad second season, and he was gone. I thought it was fucked up, but and the Browns were already a bad team. I mean, it just didn't make much sense.
And people don't remember that if Brett Favre doesn't get hurt that season, the Jets were like 8-3 before he got hurt. They had just beaten the undefeated Titans. They were looking to be the top team in the AFC.
Yeah, Brett Favre screwed them.
I just wanted to throw that out there about Herm Edwards. Like, come on, man.
Fine.
So there's something I want to throw out. This is unless you want to finish about Cam Newton, then I'll say something. But
let me just quickly say, basically, whenever Cam Newton doesn't get his first read, he immediately doesn't look anywhere else. He immediately just panics and either tries to runs or eats a sack. Like that's how he is. So that's probably why when he throws an interception, he can't seem to win the game because he's always targeting just one guy the whole time. And I thought, that's a football mechanic that he could fix. That's a football mechanic that he should realize is an issue. I mean, fucking Tom Brady and Peyton Manning look up and down that whole fucking field when something goes wrong. He needs to have a better ability to improvise. And I think he'll grow from this, and I think he'll learn. But Phil, what do you want to add?
I just want to, and this is off topic too, kind of like what Markeem was doing. But with the Eric Mangini thing, I just want to, and maybe it's just me being a Patriot fan, I want to say something. But I want to just say that will people quit thinking that Patriot coordinators can be head coaches? Name me one. Romeo Crennel might finally. I don't even know if he's successful, really.
Yeah,
but
he's gotten fired before. I think that
right. So and Charlie Weiss was a great coordinator.
I'm glad you brought up Charlie Weiss. But Charlie Weiss. Hold on. Charlie Weiss was actually a really good coach at Notre Dame. Let me explain to you why that failed. The recruits did not want to go there because Notre Dame was still rebuilding. If not a quarterback at the time, most recruits don't want to go there. And the one thing Charlie Weiss could do is coach. He couldn't recruit because he's a former NFL coach. He's a former NFL coordinator. He doesn't have that type of let's say his name doesn't hold weight like Spurrier or someone like that. Right. Brian Kelly has turned him around because in addition to being a good coach, he has experience recruiting. I mean, that's why that didn't work. Charlie Weiss I truly believe that dude could be a head coach somewhere.
And you can make the argument. I agree. I agree with what you're saying, but I just think that.
Remember the first season? Remember how great he was that first season?
Oh, right. I think I agree with you about him in Notre Dame. Right. I think he's the only case you can make.
Josh McDaniels
went to Denver. I mean, they beat New England once, but outside of that,
I'm making that as a case for why he wasn't a good coach.
Oh, right. No, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, Josh McDaniels didn't do anything. came back to New England. And he's a great offensive coordinator. I mean, they're great coordinators. Cromell, Mangini, the guy with Penn State now. I can't remember. O'Brien. I don't know what he's doing decent, I guess, with Penn State. I don't follow them, so I don't know.
He's doing better than they should because they should be like, just
horrible, right?
Because they ain't got shit to play for, but
So I mean, we'll wait and see if he can do anything. But I'm talking. I guess I'll stick it to the NFL level. I just don't think NFL level that they can be head coaches. I just want to throw that in there. I know it's pointless to talk about.
Fair point. All right. Speaking of the Patriots, we'll get to a topic that we have all argued on constantly. Tom Brady, system quarterback or not? I have a number that I'm going to throw, but first off, I'm going to let Markeem speak. Phil, you're going to go.
Let Phil go.
No, I should go first, right?
There's a tactic behind this. I would let you go first, but then we're going to give our criticisms, and you're going to want to fiercely respond. I think it's best if we do our criticisms. Let us do our criticism, and then you can organize your thoughts properly.
All right.
Your defense.
That's true.
Okay. Go ahead.
Markeem, start us off.
All right. I will say this. The first few years Tom Brady was in Bill Belichick, he was definitely a product of the system. Because look at where he got drafted. Look at just look at his physique. Look at everything about him. He was not your prototypical NFL. I feel like he's totally changed. Like his appearance and everything has changed. From when he first came into the league. When he first came into the league, to be honest with you, I thought he would end up like a Charlie Whitehurst or Jared Zabransky or. These names probably don't even ring a bell to you at all, but Jared Zabransky or who's another guy, John David Booty or so. I seriously thought he would end up like that. But the thing is, Bill Belichick is a hell of a coach, regardless of what you got to say about the Patriots. And I feel like that if he puts anyone, he can guide anyone in his system, especially Charlie Weiss was the offensive coordinator then. Y'all saw what he did with Brady Quinn at Notre Dame, which is why I say he did. But y'all saw what he did with Brady Quinn. And he can guide anyone to being productive. I feel like outside of the first few years, Tom Brady evolved. I feel like when he first got in that offense, he was definitely a system quarterback. No one can argue this. No one at all can argue. I feel like any quarterback can be successful in that system, but I feel like Tom Brady has taken it a step further because the dude is smart. He's probably the second smartest quarterback in the league. So I just feel like yes and no. I feel like he would have never got a chance in the NFL had Bill Belichick not been his coach. I feel like anywhere else he would have went, he would have failed. So but I feel like as time went on, he evolved. That's how I feel about Tom Brady.
Here's a number I want to throw at you guys. When you talk about system quarterbacks, you can't really prove it until the quarterback goes down for a year. And you look at his numbers. I'm sorry. No, I'm going to offer. And this was the year after the amazing 07 season.
Hold on, kid. And that's why I say any quarterback that Bill Belichick gets his hands on can be successful. I just feel like Tom Brady just took it a step further. That's just me.
All right.
Go ahead, kid.
Let me read you some numbers from the New England Patriots from 2004 to 2007. Tom Brady. 28 touchdowns, 14 interceptions, 26 touchdowns, 14 interceptions, 24 touchdowns, 12 interceptions, and then obviously 50 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. His quarterback rating those years, 92, 92, 87, and like the 118 year. All right. The year after Matt Castle left, he had 28 touchdowns, 13 interception, 96 quarterback rating. Very similar numbers to what he was doing previously. All right. These are Matt Castle's numbers the year that Brady went down. 23 touchdowns, 11 interception, 90 quarterback rating. This is Matt Castle we're talking about. I'm sorry.
The same guy they cheered, they got hurt. And that guy.
Look, how can you deny that? I'm not saying Tom Brady. Look, I have Tom Brady as my number 4 quarterback. I do agree with Markeem. I think over time, if you look at how Tom Brady just went down the field in that Jets game, like Omar Kelly said, he just makes it look so easy. Like, honestly, that dude, he's just a commander-in-chief. Belichick is the leader, but Tom Brady is still a leader in his own right, even if he's not like the master of all the operations. That dude still goes up and down that field. He does his job well, and he's a tremendous quarterback. I'm not saying that, but I'm sorry. How can you deny that? He had better numbers than Tom Brady did the year before the 07 season. Matt Castle put up better numbers in a season than Tom Brady did some seasons. come on. 87 quarterback rating for Brady in 06, 90 quarterback rating for Castle in 08. I'm sorry, that's evidence. And I know, like,
Phil's dying over there. Phil's dying.
And on Twitter, I posted that, and like Justin was like, "Oh, you can't compare 10 years of Brady to 1 year of Castle. That's insane." And I was just like, "Listen,
that's not a comparison. It's just saying that any quarterback can be successful in Belichick's, except Tim Tebow because he can't throw. But any quarterback can be." I'm fucking with you, Phil. But any quarterback can be successful in that system. I really believe it.
And I think Phil can appreciate this. And much like how Phil said, it's not fair to Aaron Rodgers because you need more collective work. I do think it's not fair to Tom Brady. I do think so. I do think because we'll just never know because I don't think Belichick's going to get suspended for a whole year. Like, I do think, and I think at this point, if Belichick goes down, I still think the Patriots, they would struggle, but it's not like they'd be 1-15. Like Brady, I
can guarantee you though, if Bill Belichick doesn't draft Tom Brady, he's not successful. I can guarantee that. I guarantee you that. He would not have been successful in the NFL. He just wouldn't have.
But you get that case against like a million players. I'm
not talking. And Jamarcus Russell had no business being. Stop it, Phil! Don't you dare bring it. No, hold on. I know this fool did not just bring up the Jabba the Hutt. Do y'all know how overrated this guy was coming in like Jamarcus Russell Phil? But I'm just saying, like. Tom Brady was not NFL ready. He just wasn't. He was just in the best system for a quarterback, and he became what he is. You know what I mean? He was put in a very fortunate position.
But here's the thing. I'll say to that.
Wait.
Before I go on.
I gotta finish. Dude.
I know, but let me finish. I'm talking about what he just said.
All right, fine.
Saying the argument about Brady and Belichick, you can make that same argument if Aaron Rodgers doesn't get to sit 2 or 3 years behind Brett Favre. I mean, you can make that case.
But okay, let me ask you another question. You really think we know how Brett Favre is as a person? You really think Brett Favre was guiding and coaching that boy? Do you really believe?
You think Aaron Rodgers, if he has to be forced out right away, is the same quarterback?
They make this case because Belichick in interviews, and Tom Brady has admitted this. Like, it's a widely known thing. It's just like
no. I'm not arguing. I agree with what Markeem's saying. I'm just saying how can you can say that about so many players?
I agree.
It's just
I agree, but like when you
I'm not disputing you. I'm just saying I can guarantee you that would be the case for Tom Brady.
Like
and you know what? That would probably be the case for, let's say, I don't know about Rodgers. I don't know, but let's say like we were just talking about Drew Brees. That's another. You know what I mean? So I'm just saying that definitely would have been the case with Brady. I promise you that.
Let me say this. Basically, what I was trying to finish off was I do think it's unfair, Phil, but I think that like when you look at Peyton Manning, like no one has a doubt who's the master of that offense. But with the Patriots, I mean, just everybody knows like that's not Brady's team. That's Belichick's team. When the starting quarterback, it's not that he doesn't have most of the control, because a lot of quarterbacks don't. It's when he has far less control than the head coach, and that's the case here. That Brady has far less control than Belichick does. Hey, and you can make that case. Hey, fuck, Aaron Rodgers goes down in games in Week 6-17, and Matt Flynn has the most prolific game in the history of the Green Bay Packers. The most. The most. I'm just saying the most prolific game in the history of the
that was
Green
the
Bay
Lions,
Packers.
Actually, by the way.
But it
That was
doesn't.
Lions. That improves my point, but go ahead, kid.
But yeah, I think I'm not trying to say I'm not saying Matt Castle is better than Brady. I'm not saying that Brady's not a good quarterback. I think he's a tremendous quarterback. But I'm merely saying I think there is a Patriot system in place, and I think Brady was another clog in the wheel. And I think Brady's legacy, I think the reason that people are kind of reluctant, I mean, you hear it, but someone with his success in the NFL, there should be less reluctancy to put them as one of the best, if not the best of all time. But people are reluctant because Belichick just has so much influence.
The kid said what I was thinking. I just thought about it. Yeah, you're right.
That's why. That's why I think like Brian Alvarez when he said on Wrestling Observer Radio that for Triple H's legacy, people will just always say you married the boss's daughter, and that's why people will find it so hard to compare him against like some of the better wrestlers out there. But with Tom Brady, I think it's a very similar situation. He got into a great system, and I think because of that, people will always be reluctant to really say if he's the best ever. Now you can go.
Okay, well, let me...
Hold on, let me answer that question. He's not the best ever. Go ahead, Phil.
Shut up, Mike. I'm not even going to go to that debate. Let me just say, okay, look, when I'm saying, like, everybody brings up the whole Matt Castle thing, and I understand it. And for the most part, with what Big Rat said, I agree with. I understand. You can make that case. I'm fine with that case. It's the people that like to bring up, compare him to Peyton Manning and the Colts, which is a totally different scenario where Peyton Manning is that coach. They never had a coach outside of Tony Dungy, and people can make that case where Tony Dungy wasn't even the coach.
I would still say they never had a coach.
Right. I'm just saying. There's two cases there.
No, I'm
just
bullshit.
Because
I'm joking. Dungy's a great coach, though. But go ahead, Phil.
And what I'm saying is, people's like, well, when Peyton went down, that team went crap. When Brady went down, people forget 2007. That team went undefeated until they lost in the Super Bowl. So you're gonna tell me, like, what do you expect the quarterback to come in? As long as the quarterback's not Tim Tebow, and I'll even say that, if the quarterback's not Tim Tebow or Art Sanchez, who is not gonna succeed with that team? That team just went undefeated. So shut up about those teams. What they're saying, well, they went 11-5. Now I'm not saying Big Rat. I'm talking about Big Rat. You were.
Oh my God, I'm choking. Oh, I'm choking.
What?
You insulted Tim Tebow. He's ecstatic.
Oh, okay. Anyways, I'm just saying that team was undefeated outside of their loss to the Giants in the Super Bowl, which I know we're not talking about that. That was the biggest loss. That's the one loss you don't need to lose. We're not talking about that. I'm talking about the regular season. He had his best regular season ever in 2007, and then the Patriots as a whole, not just Brady. I mean, as a whole. I mean the defense wasn't as great as it was when they won the Super Bowls, but it was still good enough to I mean, they were blowing teams out, blowing them out the water. And you're gonna tell me the next year it's supposed to change and that team's supposed to go to 6-10? Shut up! That team went 11-5 with Matt Castle because they're 16-0 the year before. So shut up about that. You people that say they went 11-5, no, you can't use that as an argument. You can use the Matt Castle stuff, but you cannot use they were 11-5 when he didn't play. Shut up. It's Bill Belichick. Arguably,
I actually totally agree with Phil right now.
It's one of the greatest quarterbacks ever. I'm just saying, I can't stand that people that bring up that 11-5 crap. You know, that's not why. Big Rat, what he's talking about with Matt Castle, yes, you can make that case. But listen, dude, like Markeem said, when he came in the league, obviously, a lot of players can come in the league. If they're not in the right spot, they're not going to succeed. Well, Tom Brady, gifted of all giftedness, I don't know what you want to say, got in the right spot, got under a great coach, and the rest is history. But because he was under a great coach, don't penalize this guy. Don't say this guy's a system quarterback. No, shut up. I wouldn't even say Drew Brees is a system quarterback. I just think Sean Payton made him better. Like, that's just that simple. And I think that's what you can make the case. I think Bill Belichick, I credit Bill Belichick 100% for making Tom Brady. But to say that if you took Bill Belichick away and Tom Brady just decides to suck, you're stupid and you're a hater. So shut up already about that crap. But Tom Brady, I'm sorry, he is not a system quarterback. And you can make an argument about everybody's system something. If they're not in their system, the players that have played in these teams over and over again, and these players that have only played for one team, that's crap. So now you're telling me Tom Brady has to play for another team to be credible? Shut up. I'm done with that crap. I hope Tom Brady never becomes another team, and I hope you still talk crap. These people that want to say that Tom Brady's not the greatest, or is not. I'm going off on.
I was about to say, he is definitely not.
No. That's like I said. I'm getting involved in the hype. What I'm saying. Let me calm down a little bit. Tom, like I said, you can make the case. Matt Castle had great numbers. Great. I think the Chiefs. I mean, I think they got a steal in the second round pick. I think they should have got they could almost got a first if it wasn't for they were buddies with the Chiefs apparently. I think that was a steal. I think that there might have been teams that would have gave up a first, and they're idiots. But anyways, Matt Castle, I wanted him to succeed, and I thank him. I've actually thought about buying that dude's jersey for saving our season that year, even though we didn't make the playoffs. But I mean, I think Matt Castle was good, and I think that everybody's like, well, he didn't make one snap, whatever. He's under Belichick. That Castle, you can make a case, was a system. He fed in that system. But you can't tell me that Brady over constant 10, however many years he's been in the league, he had this guy is not going to with no Belichick.
11, Phil. 11 to be exact. That's how many years played.
I think what you're trying to say is
I'm saying without Belichick, you can't tell me this guy starts throwing 20 plus interceptions. No.
Look,
like you're stupid.
And I think what you're trying to say is also that that you can't say with all he's done in the NFL that he's not a great quarterback. Like, it's just impossible.
Right, and there's people that are saying because of that year. Now, you're not saying this, so I'm not attacking you. You made perfect sense. I'm okay with what you said, but I'm just going off on these people that say because of that, they say that Brady, that's why I have Brady not in my top 10. Yeah, I saw someone say that Brady's not even top 10. And for that guy, if you're listening to this, you can literally suck it. Sorry, I am a nice guy, but you can suck it.
That is, I feel like that is impossible.
That's when you hate. If you don't, honestly, I feel if he's not in your top 5, you're a hater. I mean, that's not me being biased. That's me being real. If he's not in your top 5, you're just hating on him altogether. So,
and Phil, hold on, I cut you off. I think another thing that rubs people the wrong way, and this isn't fair, I'll totally admit, is that because of the system Tom Brady ended up in, he never had to go through those rookie bumps because he was all surrounded by when he needed to be. Look at Peyton Manning's rookie year. Lord, I can't really say, but you know what I'm saying? Look at some of the best quarterbacks ever. Like, look at rookie seasons. Brady really never had to go through that, and people wonder, is that because of Belichick's system? I think that has a lot to do with it.
By the way, that wasn't his rookie year, by the way.
But that's the first year he played.
I'm just saying that wasn't his rookie year.
That's his rookie year. That's the first year he played.
I consider your first year in general as your rookie year, whether you play or not.
Shut up.
So I said the same thing about Victor Cruz. I'm just sticking to everything that I've said.
Blake all of the 2009 season. He still was a rookie in 2010, Phil. He's a rookie. He's a rookie. If you don't play, you're a rookie. You know what I mean?
Who missed the 2009 season?
Blake Griffin. He missed all of the 2009 season. But anyway, that's just what I got to say.
Right, and I'm just saying, like I said, if you take it, there's people out there taking it overboard and they're going too far. I understand the Matt Castle thing; you can make that plea, but to say to completely write him off and not even mention him in your top 5 is being hater status. I mean, that's Skip Bayless hater status. Let's just be real. That's all I'm going to say. I'm done.
That was
not top 5. That's ridiculous.
That was a fiery rant, and I actually want to, myself and Markeem, I think, should applaud.
Yeah. I actually agree with a lot you said, Phil. I'm kind of shocked.
And now I'm not trying to discredit Belichick here, but I'm gonna do this to be impartial and fair. Someone did tell this to me that Bill Belichick in the '90s, when he was a coach for the Browns for I think 3 seasons, they weren't very successful. But you can't.
The Browns.
Yeah. That's the Brown curse, right?
And that was 6 years prior. And you're not going to look me in the eye and tell me that Bill Belichick isn't one of the top 5 coaches in NFL history.
Another thing too is how many people have done that good on their first head coaching job, though. Exactly. Name some. Bill Parcells struggled early too.
Jim Harbaugh.
What was his first coaching job?
The NFL coaching job? The Niners.
Well, yeah, first NFL, yeah. But I'm talking about first coaching job in general.
His first coaching job was at Stanford, right? Yeah, he was great. Changed the whole culture.
That's why I said I don't follow college.
Well, to be fair, his first coaching he first coached at San Diego, and the team did pretty well, 7-4, 11-1, 11-1. But his first 2 seasons at Stanford, 4-8, then 5-7, then 8-5, then 12-1.
Yeah, head coach San Diego though.
Yeah, and again, first.
Head coach. I do remember that now.
He was a head coach.
Yeah.
But another thing you got to realize about those Stanford teams, Big Rat, when he got those teams, they were awful.
Yes.
Like his recruiting is what made those teams.
Like I said, Jim Harbaugh or John Harbaugh, or I can always get him wrong. It's John, right?
No, you're talking about Jim. We're talking about Jim right now.
Jim, okay. Well, Jim Harbaugh is just like an exception. I mean, name another one.
Yeah, I mean, like, look at Nick Saban.
I mean, he turned Alex Smith into a decent quarterback.
That dude is amazing. That dude, real quick. I want to suck his dick real quick. Jim Harbaugh, I thought the last 2 seasons of his college career, I thought he was the best coach in all of football. Not even college and pro. I thought he was better than Saban. I thought he was better than Belichick. Seriously, because what he was able to do, you know what I mean? Like, just the way, like, they went from being 8-5 one year, nobody was like they're gonna win the Pac-12 or Pac-10 at the time, and then they just steamrolled people. They were like outscoring people, and then it all just came out of the blue. You know what I mean? And I felt like Andrew Luck would not be the player he is right now had it not been for that man. You know what I mean? I got so much respect for that dude. Look at Alex Smith. Yeah, that dude is amazing.
I do want to say Nick Saban, as much as I hate the motherfucker, I mean, he's going to go down in history as one of the greatest college football coaches of all time. And in his NFL career, I mean, he didn't do a whole lot. I mean,
yeah, you know all about that, kid.
But like you make a great point. There are very few people that succeed in their first NFL coaching job. All right. Now let's get to some college football talk. First to lose on Embrace Debate. Markeem, Alabama, Florida, Kansas State, Oregon, Notre Dame. Who's the first to lose?
We got to throw Mississippi State in there too, since they're undefeated too, and they're one of the big schools.
Mississippi State.
So is Ohio State, but
I mean, who gives a fuck, man? They can't play for nothing. I mean, and we got to throw Oregon State in there too.
Fine. Mississippi State, Oregon State, Notre Dame, Oregon, Kansas State, Florida, Alabama. Worst to best, who's the most likely to lose?
Okay, of all the teams I just said, Mississippi State definitely, because they're losing this weekend. That's a little preview pick. They're getting killed this weekend, so definitely them. Then after that, I hate to say this because I said I'd never pick against them, but Notre Dame, because I just think they're not reliable enough on offense. They need to score, and because their defense is national championship defense. But like, you know, they remind me of LSU. You know what I mean? Like, I just don't trust that offense to score enough points.
But if I could please interject, you still, through your word, you cannot week by week.
I know, but I'm gonna. Let's put like this. No. Let's put like this. Go ahead, kid. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, like, you can say they'll be like the second or third to lose, but week by week in our week by week predictions, you have to pick them to win every week.
I know, and I'm going to spoil this. I don't want to this week because I don't think they'll win, but I got to pick them. What was I gonna say? After that, Oregon State. Just because I'm not sure if they can keep. I don't know where they're getting this from. It seems like someone gets hurt every week, and they still find a way to win. You know, so I think that's just going. When has that ever been successful in football? I mean, when like this is like a miracle how they keep winning. I don't get it. Then I got Oregon, just because you know they're not as good to me as Kansas State, Florida, Alabama. I just think Kansas State is the second best team in the country right now. So, you know, but that's just me.
But if
Florida, I don't trust on offense. So I would say that Florida is more likely to lose than Kansas State.
And at this point, I want to ask you very quickly, at this point of the season, do you think we can see an Alabama-Kansas State final?
I pray to God we do. Here's what would have to happen. Oregon's going to have to lose. And Oregon's going to have to lose. And Alabama, they're going to take care of business. And Notre Dame cannot go undefeated. Yeah, I mean, and then we'll get that.
And Florida has to lose.
Yeah, Florida will lose to Alabama if we get that, because that'll be the title game. That'll be the SEC title game. So
I got you. All right. Next up, well, Phil, did you want to add anything there?
Yeah, I'll say as far as me, I think that I mean, I don't know much of. I've really been wanting to watch Kansas State after what Markeem talked about him. I think it was the last podcast or whatever.
Hold on, real quick. 52-7 against Geno Smith and his offense has 7 points against these boys. I'm telling you.
Wait. Markeem, do you remember what you said on the record last week?
On the record, I said that Geno Smith and them would never score less than 30 points again.
Yep.
And they scored 7. Think about that. And Colin Klein made them pay every time they gave him field position. This boy is amazing. Like, to me, he's the lock to win the Heisman. I think he'll win. I think the race is over. Seriously. I really believe.
Is he a sophomore or a junior?
No, he's a senior.
Oh. He's a senior. Mm.
The race is over. In my opinion, it's over. Like, even if they lose, you know what I mean? And I don't think they will. I think they'll run the table, to be honest with you. He's won the Heisman. Seriously. Like, after him going on the road against Oklahoma and just pretty much altering their entire season, you know, Geno Smith ruining his Heisman chances. This dude he's got the trophy. That's just what I think.
And Phil, would you want to add?
I was just gonna say. I mean, like I said, I don't know a lot about some of these lower teams or whatever. It's probably Oregon. I would think I agree with Markeem. This is spoiling our picks, but I don't think Mississippi State's gonna be able to handle. I don't think they played anybody. They're one of those SEC biased teams, aka Arkansas. But I think them and Oregon State will probably be the first team to lose. But outside of that, I think the rest of these teams, it's going to be. I actually like. Well, we'll get to that, but I think as far as the first team to lose, I think it's going to be between. I hate to say this because I feel like I'm saying this without enough proof. But I would say like the first team to lose out of here, I think would have to be Notre Dame or Kansas State. But I know you just talked about Kansas State, and I really want a chance to actually sit down and watch a whole game with them. I've only got to see highlights. So
Kansas State got a test this weekend though.
But I mean, I would say I think it's Kansas State and Notre Dame, and then you have Oregon. I think Oregon, Florida, and Bama actually all go undefeated until Florida loses to Bama in the not national championship, the SEC title. So I think actually Bama is probably going to be the only one undefeated at the end of all this.
Like I truly believe, as great as Oregon is, they can score in a heartbeat, blinking. They're D'Anthony Thomas is in the end zone, but I really believe that someone's going to beat them, and I don't know who. They played. Who they got left? They don't they have Stanford, USC, and the title game left, right? Those are the big things they got. I really believe that one of those games they'll lose.
Right, and I think, of course, all we'll hear, and especially me in the South, all I'll hear is, "I told you Oregon couldn't hang with the big dogs." Well, shut up.
The Pac-12 are the big dogs too. Yeah, right. I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay. Next up, we have. Before we get to our picks, let's quickly go over Larry Fitzgerald. For those who do not know, Incarcerated Bob reported today that Larry Fitzgerald is very unhappy with the Arizona Cardinals offense right now. He's very unhappy with his quarterback situation. He's probably been the most. I'd say he's been the most consistent receiver in the NFL in the past, 8 years, or not 8 years. He hasn't been in the league that long, has he? But
since 2004.
Yeah.
No, 2005. He's been there since 05, right?
No, 04. I'm looking at it now.
Okay, 04, yeah.
All right, so legitimately, this dude has been a top 3 receiver every year for a long time. I guess you can make the case for Andre Johnson, but Megatron's kind of new on the scene in the past 6 years, and probably in the past 3 years, you've actually said he was top 3. Still doesn't have a ring, a big tragedy, unfortunately, and he's very unhappy with his quarterback system right now, and is wanting a change. And you two guys, very quickly, what do you think Larry should do at this point in his career?
Who wants to go? Who you want to go?
I'll go first because it's not a whole lot to say. I have to say, and I know that he doesn't have a quarterback, but I will have to say you kind of got what you asked for. You wanted Kevin Cobb, so you get what you got. You get what you asked for, and you begged for Larry Fitzgerald. I will say that a little bit. I'm not, I understand, why he's struggling, but he, like you said, he's been the most consistent, but we haven't seen him this year. I know he hasn't had a good quarterback and all that. But there's a lot of people that don't have good quarterbacks and still put up numbers. So, I mean, I don't know. I haven't watched Cardinals games, but, outside of one Cardinals game, so I can't really say anything much about that aspect of it. And, he has been consistent outside of this year, not counting this year. He has been a consistent receiver. I don't blame him. I don't really like players that ask for trades. I've just never been that kind of guy. Trade me. It's like you play it out. You play what you're supposed to do. But I mean, I understand. I can't blame him. I mean, but I can at the same time also kind of blame him because he begged for Kevin Cobb and they got Kevin Cobb, and well, the rest is history. So I don't know. I mean, I think that Larry, I think he will go somewhere. I think the Cardinals have no choice. They need to start building on building around somebody else. So I think that they probably will trade him, but. That's just my thoughts on the whole thing.
If they finish horribly, he'll definitely get traded. I feel like if they don't make the playoffs, if they finish like they usually do, he'll get traded. But I tell you what, I'll give a quick suggestion where I like to see him end up. Won't happen, but it'd be cool to see. Could you imagine him at New England?
Oh my Jesus!
Or Denver? You know what I mean? Something like. Could you imagine that? Or could you imagine him in Green Bay alongside Greg Jennings with my boy, that bad man? Can you imagine that? Like, but it won't happen. You know,
I wouldn't say it wouldn't. I wouldn't say it would.
Could you imagine Larry Fitzgerald with that bad boy Ryan Tannehill down in my
Anyway, whatever.
Well, let's put it, well, before you finish, I want to say this. As far as where he goes, it might be between, you know, as far, well, obviously they're not going to release him, so they're going to trade him. But I think, you know, as far as trading him, it's going to be like, is he there? Is he wanting to go somewhere where he knows he's going to get big money, re-sign, or is he going to, you know, is it going to be up to him? Is it going?
I think he wants to win. I think so.
But are the Cardinals going to, you know, is it going to be up to him? Is what I'm saying. Like, or is the Cardinals going to be like, you know, I'm trading you where we trade you?
It would be a bad look if it wasn't up to him. Like, he's done so much for the friend. The only reason anyone talks about the Cardinals is this man.
Right. I agree.
It would just be a bad look if they didn't. Like, it would just look just terrible. I mean, no one would want to sign there because they ain't gonna take care of you. You know what I mean? So I think he will end up on a contender. You know, don't be surprised if someone like the Patriots. That'd be nuts, man. Could you imagine that? Could you imagine?
Well, personally, I hope that doesn't happen because, honestly, because I think that would mean we probably don't sign Welker, and I don't know if I want to think about that.
I mean, why not? Well, you do that.
Unless we get, you think I mean, we'd have to get rid of Brandon Lloyd.
Who gives a fuck?
I don't care. I'm just saying. I mean, I'm fine with it. Hey, if it happens, Markeem, I'll love it to death. I think the one that, just because I know how your boy, I know how your boy is, and he's gonna fight for everything he gets to go for a ring. You know, as far as kicking off the greatest quarterback ever, them people off his team.
Oh God!
But Elway, your boy Elway is gonna go for Fitzgerald any chance he gets. You can wrap that up.
Like Demaryius Thomas and fucking
Now, like I said, I love Demaryius Thomas. I think that guy has great potential, especially now that he has Peyton throwing the ball. But
like Decker and Thomas better not get too comfortable if he wants to trade. Seriously,
right? Especially Decker. Decker's only getting those stats because he has to get them.
Yeah.
All right, now we'll quickly go into our last week in review. We make picks every week, but we don't actually very quickly go over how smart we were, how wrong we were, blah 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 blah. This week, for the most part, Phil loved to tell us over and over and over again.
Yes.
Phil was in fact 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8-0 in the NFL. Gamecocks won this week, right? No, they lost.
No.
I was horrible in college.
Okay.
I only picked like 2 games, I think, didn't I?
No, Gamecocks, Stanford, and Michigan.
Okay, and they all won. Well, the Gamecocks.
Yeah, the Gamecocks lost, but Stanford and Michigan.
NFL, he was 8-0, but to be fair, I mean, San Francisco, New England, New Orleans, the Giants, the Steelers, the Bears, the Texans, the...
He went chalk, which is smart. I won't lie.
Right, but
of
the 8 teams I named,
you guys had the same choice.
Of the 8 teams I named, I think 7 of them are going to the playoffs. Like, really?
Just saying.
But
you know.
he wasn't.
Hey, y'all. Hey, you didn't go 8-0. That's all I'm saying.
All right, Markeem.
That's my argument.
Markeem, on the other hand, was...
That's terrible.
He was 5-3. He predicted the Bengals, the Ravens. Oof, that one hurt. And the Lions. By the way, very quickly, Baltimore Texans game. Thoughts? Markeem, go first.
Oh my God! Like that was all Ravens, man. I feel like the Texans played great. Don't get me wrong, but I think that the loss of Ray Lewis is more than any of us could have fathomed. Like, I didn't think they would just lay an egg like that. Like, on both sides. Like, when have you ever seen Joe Flacco play that bad? And I mean, like, both sides of the ball both struggled. Ray Rice was nothing. I just felt like emotionally the team was just not in it. It was like something's missing. That was not the same Ravens team we've been seeing for the past 9 years,
Right, and I'll say about that is, Markeem basically, I wasn't ready to write him off for the playoffs yet, but now I'm close. I think, I don't know. I mean, I know they beat us, but they had Ray Lewis, and here's the big thing I thought I caught when I was watching this game. Brian Cushing's out for the year. I think he's out for the year. I don't know if it's just the season, but I'm pretty sure he's out for the year. Brian Cushing was on the sideline. Ray Lewis needs to get back on that sideline, if anything. I don't know if he can. I know sometimes they can't, but because I don't think Brady ever was on the sideline when he got hurt, and Peyton either. But that's quarterback. But I'm saying, as far as he needs to get back on that sideline. I mean, if he has to be in a wheelchair, I mean, I know he's not that bad off. I'm just saying, he needs to be back on that sideline for that team. And I think Ray will. So if Ray is able to get back on that sideline and that changes things, then I'm not ready to write him off. But that game was like I said, don't get me wrong, the Texans are great. J.J. Watt made great plays in that game once again. But yeah, that was all Ravens. Ravens were. Ugh.
Joe Flacco in the ESPN quarterback rating, because I know like Tom Brady one season had like a quarterback rating of 117, and Aaron Rodgers last year had like the highest quarterback rating of all time. In the ESPN quarterback rating, which is out of 100, it's from 0 to 100. Joe Flacco had a 0.3. The lowest,
I heard that.
The lowest quarterback rating in like 5 years or something like that.
That's ridiculous, man.
Insane.
That dude is way more talented than that.
Yes.
It's very unfortunate. I do agree. I think this was like the Texans' loss to the Packers. I don't think this really says a lot about, well, this is different in that there was an injury, but I do think this is more of a situation where like the Ravens don't suck. It's just they were just so emotionally defeated. Just like how I think in the Packers-Texans game, the Packers were just so emotionally pissed off coming from that close loss. I mean, we've never seen the Texans' defense look that bad. It's like I don't think this says a lot about like their season as a whole. It's more just like of the emotional state of both teams. But it's very unfortunate. And Markeem in college football predicted Florida, Texas A&M, TCU.
I was wrong.
You were wrong in Texas A&M, wrong in TCU, Kansas State, Alabama, Stanford, Michigan, FSU, and Clemson. And by the way, I did not see that 21-point victory that you predicted, son.
Yeah, but they still got killed. The fourth quarter was bad. It was bad, kid. It was bad.
They only lost by 13. That's what the scoreboard says. I'm sorry. Me, on the other hand, I predicted San Fran, New England. Although I will say, I'm very, very sad. Not just because I was actually watching the game and I was shocked at how terrible the Patriots defense was playing. And that's why the Patriots are not that amazing. Okay, hold on. Phil, don't answer this question. Please, don't answer. Markeem, the way they played against the Jets, could you honestly think they're the best team in the AFC? The way they
whoa! I have to. No, you can't.
Wait.
You'll get your turn. Let me say
You'll get your turn. You'll get your turn. Markeem, the way they played against the Jets.
No, but they always struggle against the Jets, though.
True, but Mark Sanchez put up like the best numbers of his career.
But here's the thing. I agree, dude. I said on this podcast we don't kill the Jets, and I meant win. But I mean we should have destroyed them, and I get that. But with that team, I said on this podcast that if that team's not up by 14 points, but they did in that game that they haven't done all year is they stopped him. They made two stops. They made two stops. They fumbled the ball where the game's probably over. The game's probably over, and that team steps up and holds them to a field goal, and then in overtime they stop them and force the fumble to end the game. That's two things they didn't do all year. They haven't done all year.
Well, to be fair,
that's why I'm like that makes them even better than they were.
Even though Mark Sanchez did have an amazing game, I thought that fumble at the end was terrible. Terrible. Why the fuck are you trying to throw the ball when you're in a position like that? Come on. That's just insane. You're getting sacked. Tuck the ball in. Take it.
But there is one thing
wait. I also say the safety was also terrible. If you saw... My God. Motherfucker couldn't even hand the ball off properly. That's like fifth grade quarterbacks know how to do that. Come on. This is shameful.
But I also want to say this. I want to shut down because I saw a couple people on Twitter saying it, and they might have been just joking. I'm not saying that they were being for real, but I want to shut this down. Anyone that watches football, you don't watch football if you say this. If you say that Tim Tebow would have won that game for the Jets, you don't watch football. Because Bill Belichick destroyed both Tebow offenses last year in both games. They weren't even close. And I understand what Big Rat says, that defense or whatever is the reason why I don't care. No, Tebow did not do what he did all year. The his worst two games of the year were against Belichick. So no, he doesn't win that game.
Also, Tim Tebow, the way Tim, like we talked about this a lot, and I'm not saying Tim Tebow would have won. I mean, I predicted it last week that if Tim Tebow plays the whole game, they win, just because I hate the Patriots that much. But I think
he admitted it. Yes.
But Tim Tebow, no. But we'll get to that. But I think Tim Tebow last year, his style, a team that is very strong in the red zone would probably stop Tim Tebow pretty effectively because he pretty much does it himself. This motherfucker pretty much runs down the whole field. And I think since the Patriots were so strong in the red zone, Tim Tebow couldn't get a lot done. With these new Patriots that are allowing points left and right, and as Skip Bayless would say, the magic of Tim Tebow leading a 10-point comeback into overtime could not be overdone.
Oh my God!
It's not happening. Not against Belichick. Sorry.
But you do have to admit, whenever Tebow makes a comeback, it's like you're done. Like it's amazing. I mean,
Nightmareballa1 just literally walked out of bounds. So
but like legitimately, like it's almost like a magic force. Whenever Tim Tebow starts a comeback, you're just done. Notice that Tim Tebow.
I don't say a magic force, but I agree with what you're saying. I see what you're saying.
It's not like because whenever Tim Tebow loses, it's because he plays terrible the whole fucking game, and like they had no chance to begin with. But whenever he starts a comeback, it's just over. Like, legitimately, just amazing stuff. But I do want to read some of the suggestions for what Phil would have had to say had the Jets lost.
Oh my God, man, these were awesome.
These were awesome. I have to applaud the fans. I got to give it to you.
Mark Sanchez is the best quarterback in the history of American football, and Jeff Garcia is the best of Canadian football. Eli Manning owns the Patriots. Victor Cruz is superior to Reggie Wayne.
I hate your trademark.
Rex Ryan is a genius, and Tom Brady tosses Bill Belichick's salad in the Patriots locker.
That one was probably my favorite. I gotta give you. I don't remember who did that one.
And Mark Sanchez is a much better quarterback than Tom Brady, and I wish New England traded for him.
How can you?
I would have never made you say that, Phil.
How can you type that with a straight face? Like, how do you not misspell everything when you're typing? Like, whatever.
That's why. Okay, so we all kind of did lackluster.
But thanks for the feedback, by the way.
Yeah, we really did appreciate it. As far as myself, I mean, I predicted Tampa Bay, and y'all thought that was ridiculous, but that was a fairly close game with a pretty sketchy ending. If you do ask me, if I do say so myself. Giants.
Oh yeah, they got robbed, man. They got robbed.
I said that, but then it gets better explained because I forgot that if he's out of the, because I thought I said the same thing on Twitter. I said they were robbed, but then I don't remember his name. Crossfade fan on YouTube said something. And I went to one of the reporters. They kind of made a point. Apparently, the rule is, and I know this, I still think it's whacked, but like if the quarterback's out of the pocket, you're able to legally force a guy out of bounds. So that's why. But
okay.
Oh, that's dumb.
I know. I agree. It's a dumb rule, but it was the right call. Like it was the right call when you look at it. It's just a dumb one of those dumb rules.
Well, it's also like the tuck rule, but we're not talking about that.
Well, no. I know.
Oh boy. Yeah, you know what though? One day we should talk about that just for the hell of it.
One day
that'll be one of those topics like the Tom Brady system, the Hall of Fame, college versus NFL playoffs that we always debate that we'll bring up. Right. All right. Now this week's predictions. We start off with the Seahawks and the Lions. Markeem?
I am not picking the Lions ever again in history. So I'm going
for the rest of your life.
For the rest of my life, I'm not picking the Lions anymore.
Put him on record.
put that on the record. Oh my God.
The rest of his life. That's a great one.
Matt Stafford. That man. Look. I still think he's a good quarterback, but something's just off. I don't know what it is, but it may be. I don't know what's going on, but I got the Seahawks. I do think it'll be close. I give him a little bit of credit, but because Russell Wilson is very shaky. I mean, the Seahawks offense in general is very shaky, but this defense, this pass rush is hellacious. I feel like they have the best secondary overall, like safeties and corners in all of football.
Brandon
Browner. What you say?
Like I said a few weeks ago, Brandon Browner, that cornerback that is just like has an amazing eye for the ball, an amazing eye for the cornerback. He's playing really well. So yeah.
Yeah. So I'm going Seahawks. Close though.
All right. Well, I know I said last week, and I don't think we might talk. I don't think we'll talk about either one of these teams actually, but in the Arizona Vikings game, I said that was a turning point. Whoever lost that game, and I had the Vikings winning. I think I told you I thought the Cardinals were going to drop off. I don't think that with Seattle. I think Seattle is still going to stay. They're going to say, "Hey, we're still here," and I think Seattle wins this game too. I think Seattle's defense is just too good to just go away like Arizona, and that offense isn't horrible. I know a lot of people say that's where receivers go to die, but I mean it might change. It might change in the future. But I think Seattle. I do think Seattle wins this. I'm like Markeem. It's got to be close because Seattle's not going to blow out a team. It's just unless their name is Dallas or something. But had to get that little stab in there. But yeah, I got Seattle winning this. It could be a little bit, maybe a 2-touchdown game, but I think it will be close just because I think that offense for the Cardinals is just, is that good. And you got Sue and all that, and for what that's worth. But the Bears were able to put up 13 points, and that was enough to beat them. So there you go.
Like, yo, I like Russell Wilson's mentality, man. I just think the ability has to get where his mind is. You know what I mean? I like that kid. I like him when he was in college too.
I like what I've seen so far too. I do.
I think Vinny Verhey, I mentioned him a lot on this show. He said it best, and he's from Seattle, so he studies this team very closely. And he said that, in all honesty, Seattle can beat and lose to any team in the NFL, and it honestly wouldn't surprise any of us by this point. I mean, look at their wins. I mean, they've beaten the Packers, quite obviously with a question mark, with an asterisk. They've beaten the Patriots. They put up a fight against San Fran, but at the same time, they've lost to Arizona. They lost to the Rams. They almost lost to the Panthers. Legitimately, like they're so entertaining to watch because you just never know with these guys. But I enjoy watching them play. I think their defense is really, really, really good. I like Russell Wilson's mentality. I think his numbers are a little overstated. I'm not saying he's a bad quarterback. He's not. He's a pretty good quarterback. But I think those that are saying that he's like the surprise rookie upstart of the season, the team's doing well. But look at his stats. They're really, really, really nothing to write home about. But I do have them winning as well. There is really something wrong with Detroit. I think Michael Smith said this on Twitter. When they were down 10-0 to the Bears, it seemed like the most insurmountable deficiency ever.
It's over. He said it felt like 30-0 is what he felt.
Yeah, it's just like
it felt like that for real. It did. I mean,
yeah, it was just like they can't get anything going. So yeah, I agree with you all, Seattle. All right, Phil, fellow AFC East compadre, Dolphins versus Jets.
Dolphins versus Jets. This is an interesting one. This is for arguably second in the division, and this could be this is like I said. I think I've said this. We said this when we were talking about the Dolphins' playoffs hopes. I think that this Dolphins need to win this game to have a chance. And I think if Dolphins do, I will say this before I make my pick. If Dolphins do win this game, I think that that you're going to have to start Tebow the next game. I mean, the Jets will be 3-5. I mean, you have no choice. 3-5. You're done almost anyways. But anyways. With that being said, I think this is a big game. I think a lot of people are going to be like, "Oh my gosh!" But look, in the AFC picture, any win. I mean, you got to win these big games like this. And I think Miami wins this one. I'm going to actually go and say Miami beats the Jets. they rats clapping. I think, but I think Miami wins this game because they're the better team. Now, a lot of times the better team doesn't win, and I could be wrong, but I'm going to go with Miami. My gut says Miami. I think the Jets look the best that they've had ever against the Patriots, and that's just because that rivalry plus that defense. But I think Miami wins this one. It's going to be close, and I mean, Miami and Jets last game went overtime, and Miami, I think, didn't the Jets come back to make it into overtime?
Yeah.
So Miami had I didn't mean to remind you, but Miami had that lead. So, and I know that one was in Miami, but I still got Miami winning this one. I don't think the Jets sweep them. I just don't think it.
I kind of agree with Phil. I can't imagine Mark Sanchez sweeping anyone. This dude, like, yo, I thought he was overhyped from day one. When he was at USC, I thought he was overhyped. And I just think that he has no business playing quarterback at this moment. He's not. He right now is probably worse than Tebow was last year. Wow. So why not put?
Wow.
Seriously.
Well, he is. I mean, statistically, yeah.
It's ridiculous how bad this dude is. He has been a disaster all year, and I just don't imagine him sweeping anyone. So I think the Dolphins will win, and surprisingly, I do not believe this will be close.
Oh wow.
I pretty much agree with y'all. I'm not really gonna pick the Jets on this.
Time out. I think it'll be low scoring, but I think honestly the Jets won't put up more than like a field goal or a touchdown. Seriously.
The Dolphins, obviously, I'm kind of biased here.
But I tend to see. I mean, we really don't talk about the Dolphins matchups most week, except against the Bengals, which I should add. I was the only one of the three of us to predict the victory. But like, you know, when the Dolphins play the 49ers, don't think I'm going to pick the Dolphins. Like, I'm not stupid. But I do think we're winning this one. I think Joe Philbin, especially, I read a lot of his interviews, and his interviews after every game, like, he has this like Dolphins versus the world mentality, and it's almost like they laugh at us. They think we're no good. No problem. We'll show them. We'll show them why they're idiots. He said that in one interview. I think it was after the Cardinals game. We'll show them why they're idiots. We'll show them why they can never, ever just, like, discount us. And because of that, you know, I don't think he's going to let the Jets beat him twice. I really don't. And I have faith in my coach, and I have faith in my quarterback, and I have faith in my team. So, yeah, Dolphins. Falcons and Eagles. Joaquin.
Oh, God. Oh my God. I got the Falcons, and I can say that with 100% confidence because I have zero confidence in Michael Vick. We will lose. It will come down to Michael Vick having to make plays, even though he's been good late in games with that. But I can honestly see this man fumbling late in the game and costing us the game. Seriously. Like, I have no faith in this dude. I think honestly, I think he may be even more unreliable than Mark Sanchez. Explain why. Because Mark Sanchez is not very good. It is known he is not very good. When you get something good from Mark Sanchez, it is surprising. Michael Vick, $100 million man, considered by most a good quarterback. We pretty much debunked that on this show. Can we all agree on that? Right. But in most cases, he is bad more so than good. I mean, and when he is good, he's great. And when he is bad, he's to be honest with you, I look at him the same way I look at Tony Romo. Real shit. I look at him the same way I look at Tony Romo. And for that reason, I'm picking the Falcons. I believe that Michael Vick will be our undoing.
Phil?
Okay. So you guys know that I think that I've been on record. I don't know if I've been on record for saying this, but I think the Falcons are the best team in the league.
Really?
If I'm not on the okay, you can put me on the record for saying they're the best team in the league. But
I'll put you on the record now.
I like the Falcons. I mean, will they come up playoff time? You know, we'll see me then. But I'm talking about right now, best team in the league. And I've talked Matt Ryan up. I've talked the Falcons up. You know, when I talk about the NFC South, geez, we talked about the NFC South more than we talked about, you know, Christmas or whatever. But I'm just saying, we talked about the NFC South a lot. So you know my thoughts on the Falcons. But I'm picking the Eagles. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, I am picking the Eagles to beat the Falcons, and for one stat alone that has eaten me for actually 3 straight years when I've picked against the Eagles, and I'm not doing it again. Andy Reid is undefeated after the bye week. That's right, folks. Undefeated after the bye week, and I'm sticking by it. I think Andy Reid's job's on the line. If all the games he has to win, he has to do it. I'm picking the Eagles in the upset. I know I'm an idiot, but I'm doing it.
No, you're not. Most time, you know what? If Michael Vick wasn't the quarterback, I'd be right with you. Seriously, Phil. Andy Reid has a bye. I agree with you.
Well, Phil, you're obviously such a fucking moron. But in all actuality, I actually also am picking the Eagles over the Falcons, and not just because of the bye week. I generally don't have that much confidence in Atlanta. I mean, you all have looked. I know they're undefeated, but A, look at their schedule, and B, look at. I mean, do people realize they almost lost to Cam Newton? They almost lost to the fucking Raiders. Like, this is not the team. When the Texans played shitty teams, the Texans destroyed them, and then everyone wondered, oh, how are they going to do against top competition? When Atlanta plays shitty teams, they almost lose. Like, it's not like you're not wondering how they're doing. Okay, but it's irrelevant. It's irrelevant. We can talk. I
mean, no, I was going to say is that's a good point, but in the same aspect, you can't win all games by a lot.
That is true.
That's just
fair point.
Yeah, but you make a good point against the Texans too. I mean, they were. You can't say one thing about the Texans and then change it up against Falcons. I agree.
But also, I think the Eagles will win because also Michael Vick, I think his career really is on the line here. It has been reported that if Michael Vick doesn't play well, Andy Reid is going to bench him.
Andy Reid will bench him, and I hope that shit happens. I cannot wait.
All right, but I want to say this. I still have the Eagles in the Super Bowl, and I still think they're winning the division. So we'll get to that. Hey, that's for a later time. But Markeem, I am putting you on the spot. I am calling you out, brother. I am laying down the challenge, and this is exactly the opposite of Phil's challenge. But I think if Eagles win, then our fans write stuff in the comment section, and you have to say it next week on this show.
Okay. All right. Okay. I'm down with that. I'm all right with that.
All right.
I think it's fair because it's a situation like where we all disagree.
It's just like it. It's just like it. So yeah, that's cool.
All right. So yes, put whatever comments you want for Markeem. You have to say them. You have to say them.
I tell you what. You tell me to say some shit like Michael Vick is the greatest quarterback of all. I'll say it, but y'all never hear me on the show again. Think about that. Y'all lose me. Y'all want to lose me? I'm joking, but
right. Don't try not to take it too extreme, I guess.
Yes. Redskins, Steelers. Phil.
This was actually an interesting matchup. When I was writing it down, I was like, well, dang, that's a tough one. I think I've always thought Steelers are tough at home, and I like what RG3 is doing. I think it's, the Steelers have got a lot of injuries. They've got problems, but I did think they were going to get it done against the Bengals, and it was closer. It was actually closer than I thought, but they were able to get it done. But as far as this game, I want to say my gut says a certain team, but it's just hard to go with either one. But I gotta say the Steelers win this at home. I think that this is a turning point for the Steelers. I mean, they've got to start winning these big games and start, proving that they can be a playoff team. I picked them to make the playoffs before the season, and it's looking like that. Still a possibility, of course. But I wouldn't be shocked if the Redskins win. But I'm gonna go with the Steelers just because my gut says that they can pull this one off.
Marquis.
This is a statement game. Like, the Steelers need to win this game, and I think just for that reason alone, they win. I think RG3 will do really well. I think he will. Because can we all agree this is the most hostile environment he's going into? Heinz Field ain't no joke, especially in November.
Right.
I mean, it's October, but it might as well be November.
Yeah.
So Heinz Field is no joke. I believe that he will do well, and I believe that a lot of people will have a lot of nice things to say about him because he deserves all of them. This year he's been outstanding, but I think he will lose, and I think it'll be similar to the Giants game. I think he'll make a play late, and Ben and the rest of them will make another play afterwards. So I think the Steelers win.
I'm picking RG3, and I actually think the RG3 Andrew Luck comparisons aren't fair because y'all don't realize, I'm talking to the fans, y'all don't realize on how much of a worse team Andrew Luck is. Without Andrew Luck, that team is fucked. Without Andrew Luck, that team is screwed.
What was that stat you had for the QBR thing?
Andrew Luck is actually in the QBR. He's 7th, I believe. Or was he a little bit higher than that? I'll look while you talk. Wow.
He was 6 or 7. He was 6 or 7.
Yeah, 6 or 7. As far as the QB, that new QBR rating, that's how high Andrew Luck was.
Yeah, and people are saying the Colts can make the wild card. I mean, this is a 500 team. People are really behind this team. The Redskins, I think RG3 is on a much better team, and I also think that RG3, I've already said that he'll go through a similar struggle as Cam Newton has, and that teams will figure him out. With Andrew Luck, I don't think that'll be the case. I really think Andrew Luck will adapt better to that. Maybe you disagree or agree, Markeem. I don't know, but I think that
I totally agree.
Yeah,
I do too.
I think when Andrew Luck, his second season, he'll probably be just as productive as he was this season. With RG3, you can't say that. So, but I am picking RG3. But they said this on ESPN. Whether you love or hate RG3, whether you think he's better or worse than Andrew Luck, the dude's fucking fun to watch. Like all his games, I mean, so entertaining. Like you love watching this guy play. And I think, they're pissed. They came off a really rough loss to a division rival. And I think RG3, I really do believe in his intangibles. And I think he's here to say, hey, we're not here to go. Not to mention the Steelers also have losses to the Raiders and the Titans. So, you can lose to shitty teams every once in a while. When you lose to them twice, that's not good. So maybe I have a little less faith in them than most people. But I'm picking RG3 in the upset. Got to go on a limb. Giants, Dallas. I will first off say that if you want to know my thoughts on this, go watch
the other video.
The other video.
That's my bad.
Phil made a mistake. He told us Giants, Dallas when it was really Giants, Redskins. I think we all probably would have picked the Giants, though. I don't know about you two last week.
I'm still with the Giants. Just that video.
I would have picked the Redskins, but no, I would have had to pick the Giants.
But last week I did predict that the Cowboys would beat the Giants. I think the Cowboys need this win. I think the Giants right now are kind of on a high. And as we all know, the Giants are at their weakest when they're viewed as one of the best teams in the NFL. Like, right now, I think they're on that cloud where the media's telling them they're the best team. They obviously, everything's going right for them. And like what happens to them every year, and people don't realize this, they have a really shitty division record every year. Like, I don't think they've ever had a record better than 4-2 in the division, like in the past 5 years or something like that. I think 3-3 most seasons. I think the Cowboys will sweep them. I am making the bold prediction that the Cowboys will sweep the Giants. And I know you're all going to think I'm crazy. That's fine. But I really do think that Tony Romo comes to play. I think the Cowboys come to play again. I know the Giants are going to want to avenge that loss bad, but I really think the Cowboys are winning this one. I got a feeling. Going with it.
I guess I'll go ahead. Let me just say this, okay? I've talked about Dallas several times. I went on the rant last week or whatever that didn't need to have a place. But let me just say this, okay? If the Giants, and Big Rat's right about everything he said as far as the Giants, but if the Giants get swept by Dallas and somehow win another Super Bowl, I'm done. I'm just done. I might jump on the Marquine bandwagon after that, because that's just really, Giants, you are by far the better together team. You're better team. You're everything than the Dallas Cowboys. If you let the Dallas Cowboys sweep you, how can you win anything after that? Like, you literally, can you sleep at night saying you got swept by the Dallas Cowboys? who almost, and I watched this.
That's the best quote of the whole
video. I live in the Carolina area, so that game was on for me. You know, I swept. You know, the Texans were killing the Ravens, so I got to watch most of the Dallas Carolina game. Dallas actually should have lost that game if the Cam Newton and the rest of the Panthers had a brain. It was bad. Like, the Dallas got a couple calls that hurt the Panthers, and that, not saying that the calls is the reason why they won. I'm just saying it kind of shifted the momentum, and Dallas ended up pulling that one off. But that game was close, and they were close with a 1-5 team. Like, Giants, I know, and I understand what Big Rat's saying. The Giants do that a lot. The Giants got swept by the freaking Redskins last year without RG3. Giants, please, for once, go out there and just beat Dallas, get your number 1 or number 2 seed, then lose in the playoffs. I don't care, but I'm just saying, you got to win this game. You cannot get swept by Dallas. I got the Giants in this game. I don't know. It's a division game, and not that they're all close, but certain rivalries are always close. So I'm not saying this is going to be a blowout. But the Giants need to win by 2 touchdowns. If they don't win by 2 touchdowns, then it's their fault. Like, it's not Dallas, it's their fault.
3-0 at Dallas. The Giants are over the past few seasons, and I think this is going to be 4-0 because I think Eli Manning is to counter Big Rat's point. They are living on cloud 9, but I think Eli Manning plays at another level on the road. I think that dude loves that me against the world mentality. I think he thrives off that shit, and I expect this game to be close and Eli be Eli in the fourth quarter. I'm going with the Giants.
Which I want to say something about that. That I think we talked about before or we talked about on the podcast. I never can get my brain to remember, but the Giants and the Packers are teams that have to. I think we did talk about this on the podcast, but. The Giants are one of those teams that have to, they live, like what he said, live off of the wins on the road and stuff like that. So but I think the Giants this year are going to be another team that has a top seed, and it's just not going to be their year again because they have to have that run. The Giants are a team that live on the run. Both Super Bowl wins were coming off of what? A wild card playoff run. So I'm just saying, this is the kind of wins that the Giants win. They win these kind of games. It's the ones that they lose as the ones when they're at home and they have a week off or stuff like that. That's the games that the Giants just aren't the same. But anyway,
they got to keep playing. They got to keep playing.
Right.
All right. Saints and Broncos. Really not much discussion here. Saints almost lost and probably should have lost to Tampa Bay. I said this last week. I think because they beat the Chargers, I think people are all of a sudden forgetting that this team got murdered by the Panthers, that this team still has a lot of issues, that this team is probably not besting 6-10 still this year. I would still say that. I'm saying the Broncos. Not gonna lie, and probably in easy fashion. I don't see Peyton Manning throwing 3 interceptions against this defense. Like, I don't see that.
Now, you want me to go next?
Yeah, go ahead, Marquis.
I got the Broncos pretty easy too, but I do think Drew Brees will have a really good game. I think he will show up. Yeah, I mean, the offense will do what they're supposed to. But I think Peyton Manning. You're putting Peyton Manning against this defense. Oh my God.
That's and are you done, Marquis?
Like that's gonna be killer.
It's gonna be insane. Let me just say, let me start. I've got the Broncos in this one easily too. I've got the Broncos winning easily because I don't see what I'm about to say happening. But the only way the Saints win this game, in my opinion, is if Peyton Manning has like the worst game of this season or maybe even his career. Like, he's gonna have to throw 3 interceptions in the first half and then probably throw 3 more in the second half for him not to be in this game late and not to win it. I really don't think, like, Drew Brees is gonna, like you said, have a good game and it's not gonna be a complete blowout. But I just think that Peyton Manning is gonna light up this defense and eventually Drew Brees is gonna get stopped, and that's gonna be the game at that point. It could now. The only way, like I said, turnovers.
I think it's going to be shootout, like just total shootout.
Right, and I think turnovers. Now, if somehow Saints luck up and maybe McGahee fumbles or Peyton Manning happens to throw a pass that's picked off then the Saints will have a chance to win. But I just can't predict that. No one can predict that that's gonna, like, an interception and a fumble is gonna happen. So I think that easily the Broncos win this game. But if the Saints win this game, I will say this. My 9-7 saying that they won't finish worse than 9-7 might still happen. Now, obviously, they have to win this game, but I don't have them winning this game. But if they somehow prove us wrong and win this game, 9-7 is still not out of the question.
You think they will run like that?
If they can beat the Broncos,
I don't know about.
I'm just saying.
I feel.
Like I said, I don't think they can, so it doesn't matter.
We'll see.
Right.
All right. College football, and I have 3% battery left, so we can wrap this up pretty quickly. Florida and Georgia. Markeem.
I got Florida, but I wonder how they play outside of the swamp, because one thing a lot of people said, and I kind of agree with, is that the SEC is full of elite defenses, but the offenses are pretty mediocre. That's just being real. And I wonder if Florida can be able to put that together outside of the swamp.
To be honest about this, I will say this as a Carolina fan. I wasn't able to watch the game, unfortunately. I wasn't even able to go back and watch it. But Carolina shot themselves in the foot. If Carolina doesn't turn the ball over that much, they make that game close, and maybe even Carolina has a chance. I don't know. I know everybody's like, well, they got destroyed. How do you say that?
I totally agree with you.
But they threw a lot of interception. They threw a lot of, or they got a lot of turnovers. And Florida's offense isn't crazy good, like you said. So if Florida doesn't get those turnovers, I wouldn't be shocked if Georgia's in this game. But I still got Florida winning.
Next we got Texas Tech and Kansas State. Markeem.
Colin Klein, he's special. Texas, the thing is that Texas Tech is going to have to contain this kid, and they're going to have to outscore them. I think they're capable of outscoring them. I just don't. I don't think Colin Klein will let it happen. That dude is that special. Seriously, Kansas State. Kansas State.
I don't know enough about him, but I'm going to pick Kansas State.
USC and Arizona.
This will be a shootout, and I believe that Arizona, USC will definitely get a fight. But I think that Matt Barkley will make plays late. I think they win. I think he has one of his best games statistically this year. So I think they win.
I'm actually going to pull a Markeem and who likes to talk about how loud some of the stadiums can be. I've seen some games at Arizona. I'm actually going to pick Arizona in the upset. I might be stupid. I might not know what I'm talking about, but I'm just going to pick Arizona in the upset.
And the stadium, like Matt Barkley does a lot at the line of scrimmage, and that's going to be hard. That's what I'm saying. Like, this will be close, but I think he'll make a play late. And
that's probably right. I'm just going out on a limb because I feel like it. So I got Arizona.
Right. Cool. Notre Dame and Oklahoma.
I have to pick Notre Dame. So officially I'm picking Notre Dame, but I'll tell you all the ways they'll lose. Like, Notre Dame will win, but they can lose because they might get outscored, and Oklahoma's defense is not too shabby, and Notre Dame's offense cannot score. What's his name? Eric Golston, he's a talented boy, but I don't know. I got to pick Notre Dame, right? So I'm picking Notre Dame.
My last name is Bayless, so I'm supposed to take anything involving Landry Jones, but I'm going Notre Dame. I'm not picking against my boy Eric Colston, Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. I'm going Notre Dame.
Even though Oklahoma, I think, is better on both sides of the ball. Minus defense, but I think they're more solid at defense, and I think the offense is miles ahead of Notre Dame's. But Notre Dame will win because I got to pick them. But go ahead.
And finally, before my laptop dies, Mississippi State and Alabama.
Alabama crushes them. It won't even be close. Mississippi State has played no one. They're good against the pass, but Alabama's just more physical. They will dominate Mississippi State.
Yeah, I got Bama. We're done.
And, I got to do a sign-off very quickly with that. We thank you all very much for joining us on First Take. Please write comments.
Virginia Tech, Miami. Well, we can't do it now, but I got Virginia Tech. Quickly, kid.
I got Miami, so fuck you. We'll have a very fierce debate next week when we actually talk about this game and the teams.
There we go.
All right.
Bye, everybody.
Wait. I do want to say, don't forget to write your comments for Markeem about what he will have to say if Michael Vick pulls off the upset. And with that, thank you very much. I'm Big Red J310 Crawford.
And I'm Nightmare Bayless. I'm Nightmare A. Smith.
And yours truly, Phil, Mr. Perfect Bayless.
And this was YouTube Take, and we're out. Goodbye.
Good night, fellas.